Good evening, everyone, and welcome to BSR TV for this rounds 37 to 39 of the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship presented by Engine Oil Direct. Thank you, everyone, for joining us wherever you may be tonight. We are here from the Silverstone circuit in the south of England. Andrew Woodhouse here with Adam Bath and iRacing World Championship driver Alex Simpson. Alex will be along in a minute. But first of all, Adam, the last round at Road Atlanta, well, it was another great round for the championship leader, Wojciech Savidovic.
Yeah, Wojciech Savidovic increasing his lead in the championship up to 400 points now. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Silverstone International Racing Circuit. We're here on the historic layout tonight. We haven't been on this layout since all the way back in Season 6, which is just under a year ago, when the race winners there last time around were Stefan Hug, Ashley Sutton and Jerome Kaiser. Two of those drivers not in the field tonight, but Kaiser, I do believe, is racing, so we'll see if he's able to emulate his success. But yeah, Wojciech Savidovic quite a way in front in the standings after 36 rounds. He leads the championship by 407 points over Andreas Katz, with Stelian Chepelevsky in third, David Baker in fourth, Jamie Rushworth is in fifth, Alex Smolensky is in sixth, John Roberts is leading the Pro-Am Championship, he's in seventh, tied on points with Lee Thompson driving for Apex Racing TV, and in ninth it is Ellis Stevens, and then moving inside the top 10, which is all important for the showdown, it is Paul Smith.
Yeah, indeed. Paul Smith, one of our commentary colleagues as well. Alex Simpson, welcome, my friend. Silverstone historic here today. It's going to be fast and furious, and it's going to be difficult for these Kia Optima drivers.
Yeah, I love this circuit. Like you say, very, very fast. It is quite tricky to overtake, but I think the Kias have got enough draft to be able to get a good run down Hanger Straight and into Stowe, and maybe again into Bridge Corner as well. But obviously, Abbey be completely flat, but yeah, Bridge possible overtaking, and Brooklands is always pretty good.
Yeah, overcast conditions here for the first race here in Northamptonshire. We will have a rolling start for at first, and Adam, that could be beneficial for a few drivers because, as we know, these Kia Optimas find it difficult to bring those tyres up to temperature in these conditions.
Yeah, I think the organisers have made a sensible decision here by putting in a rolling start for this first race of the evening. Let's just have a look at the temperatures. Outside at the moment it is overcast, 72 degrees Fahrenheit, track temperature 77, and just a slow wind. So, yeah, good decision by the organisers to do a rolling start. Will definitely allow the drivers to put some heat into their tyres. However, we've seen time and time again, Andrew, sometimes that wall of lap isn't enough for these guys, and we still see them sliding around the first few corners.
Sometimes it doesn't matter anyway. Alex, are there going to be any corners in particular that the drivers are going to struggle with in the opening laps?
I think the whole first sector is going to be pretty treacherous, to be honest. Those rears, if they've not got any pressure into them, Cops is bad enough, but yeah, going through Beckett's, Maggots, Chapel, that is going to be really challenging with that rear end dancing all over the place. So yeah, watch out on the first one for the big one.
Well, the top 5 in qualifying, the drivers just finishing off qualifying 2 there, where the top 15 drivers attempt to improve their times from the first session. Wojciech Savidovic, the championship leader, is on pole ahead of Sebastian Job, world championship driver himself. Ade Koba Lopez in third place. Then it's Stelian Chepelevsky, reigning champion Andreas Katz, and then season 7 champion David Baker is just behind in 6th. Robert Fagg in 7th as well. It's good to see him back. Adam, is there anyone that we need to look out for in this race who might spring a surprise on this Silverstone circuit?
Luis Silveira, the last time we saw him, I think, was all the way back in Season 7, driving for Oculus. He's a privateer for this race meeting. He's currently 13th in qualifying, and Daniel Kraft as well in 14th. He always seems to end up getting to the front after having not the best of qualifying. So those two drivers to watch out for. And of course, the Season 4 champion, Jamie Rushworth, didn't make it through into the second part of qualifying. He will be starting this race in 17th position after finishing practice in 4th place. So he's definitely got some speed underneath him, and he's been in the championship long enough to know this circuit. I think he'll be one to watch out for to fight his way through the pack in this first race.
Yeah, Alex, that's going to be difficult for Rushworth, isn't it? 17th. Slightly too far back, you would think, to challenge for the win, but Jamie's got a lot of experience.
Yeah, it is going to be tough. He will work his way through. Of course, it is 3 rounds as well. So even as long, well, I guess the main thing is he keeps himself in a good position for the next round. But looking at his times, and I was talking to him before the race, and he thought that he was going to be in sort of the 44s himself, actually. So he was I guess quite surprised to be down where he is right now.
Yeah, of course, Jamie Rushworth lapped in practice a 1:45.1, so not within the lap times he was expecting there.
No, we're going to be going to the grid in just over a minute's time, and then of course we'll see the safety car at the head of the field. Silverstone, the home of Formula One for many, it's held the British Grand Prix nearly every year since 1950. Alex, you've been to the circuit, you've driven round it a couple of times actually. And raced here on iRacing as well. What was it that's special about this track?
It's yeah, I'm pretty sure I say this a lot of times when we talk about special tracks. So I really to pinpoint one particular thing is very, very difficult. It's just everything. I mean, that first sector is probably the best in the world. Any circuit, just when you nail that, the grin that just creeps across your face when you can see a good sector come together.
Or if you're like me, the
awesome.
swear words that come out, and frustration if you can't nail it every time.
Well, yeah, there's that as well, but there are some frustrating sectors as well, especially this particular layout, because you can lose quite a bit of time going through sort of Vale and Club if you just don't commit through it properly enough and commit too much and you run out wide. I think we'll see a fair bit of that. Those Kias exiting through Club, they're going to be all over that Vodafone advertising that's out there, trying to get the car back in before they get off tracks.
Yeah, Adam, we've seen a lot of changes to this circuit, especially over the last 5 years. Now with the wing complex and everything and the new infield section, we're very much back to the old school territories of bridge and club corner. And is it special to be back here for you?
Yeah, of course, back in the day, always going through bridge, where don't lift, going through that corner, and that's what I think the drivers will probably have to lift in these Kia Optimas tonight, and then into the tight and twisty bit at the end of the lap. It's still a very fast circuit here at Silverstone. Of course, you've got Magus and Beckett's very quick beginning of the lap, then Hanger straight down into Stowe at the end of the long back straight, which could be an overtaking spot, and then the flat out through Vale, and then flat out for Abbey. So those modifications to the corners on this historic layout makes the circuit even quicker than in the Formula 1 layout, as we're getting ready to go, I believe, but the pace car will be leading them round on this lap, and then we'll be getting the green flag, and Wojciech Savidovic will lead them under green.
Yeah, look at this slew of cars snaking all the way back round Woodcote, Alex. 44 drivers. It's really good to see this number of cars on the grid.
Yeah, it's absolutely great. We knew it was going to be a reasonable turnout today, but 44, well, that's fantastic. I mean, you just it's tricky to start around the corner, but yeah, there must be people all the way right back to Luffield there.
Yeah, rolling start on this first round. We believe they'll be starting from the grid later on, but we'll confirm that for you later, of course. But Wojciech Savidovic does lead us away under the safety car. Now, with these front-wheel drive cars, Alex, you've got to strike a balance between warming up the tyres and not wearing out these the fronts, because they're having to do the steering, they're having to do the accelerating as well, and they take most of the load on the braking.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, getting that balance. I mean, it's tricky. You see drivers starting to have a little weave now, not too aggressive with the front, just trying to gently build up some pressure in the rears. That's the big thing. We don't normally see the weaving on iRacing. Normally the colder tyre is the faster one. So, it's a little opportunity for the guys. Normally we don't have the pace car, but the officials decided that it needed to happen with this first sector being so tricky for the rears. So most drivers look like they're not pushing the fronts too hard. So it looks like everyone's just bringing them up to temperature and pressure slowly but steadily.
Adam, have you got a favourite here for this 37th round of the season?
I'm going to say Jacobo Lopez. He's starting third on the grid. The last time we saw him was back at Virginia a few weeks ago, and he very nearly took a race victory there. He had a collision, I think, with Laura Bond and Simon Field, I do believe, as we were heading down the back straight on the last lap of the race. So he's my pick to take this race 1 victory here. He is, of course, a former champion, and he knows this racetrack well.
Yeah, and he's in the Power Max car as well, and we've seen them be very quick at Silverstone before. Wojciech Savidovic, of course, for Engine Oil Direct, they've had such a good season. He's leading the way. But Sebastian Job there, World Championship driver. Alex, you've got a hand in running Apex Racing TV as well. You know, Seb's got a good chance here. Does he like this circuit?
Yeah, I mean, it helps. He's done a lot of running around here recently. We've just done the World Championship race, so you'd think he should know this pretty well, even with the slight alterations to the layout. So he looked quick in practice, so I think it's going to be close between the front two. They're pretty fierce rivals, Wojciech and Seb. They also run in a Skip Barber series together, and the competition's pretty fierce between them. So whenever one can get the leg up on the other, it's definitely a bonus for each of them.
Do we think overtaking's still going to be okay, even with these taking out the Abbey chicane and taking out Vale?
Yeah, I can't see it being too much of a problem, knowing the Kiers. I definitely think coming out of club and going here as we just go around Bridge Corner now, I actually think that could be a genuine overtaking place. Failing that, we'll still get moves going to Brooklands and into Stowe.
Alright then. So, we've had a fantastic first half of the season so far, the BSRTC Pro Series. And round 39 here at Silverstone, round 37 here at Silverstone is about to get underway as we come round Luffield then.
Wojciech packing the pack up quite a bit there.
Yep, doing his job. He'll become the safety car now. As the safety car pulls into pit road, and the green flag waves at Silverstone for Wojciech Savidovic to take the lead into Copse Corner for the first time. Look at them streaming through. Someone's on the grass near the back. I think that was Jay Wright in the Oculus car through Copse Corner. It looks like everyone's got through cleanly. Savidovic leads. Lopez has actually got into second place ahead of Job, and he squeezes through, Adam.
Yeah, very close there already on the opening lap between Adeko Lopez and Sebastian Joe. Power Max versus Apex Racing TV. Looks like everyone's made it through cleanly. I see a few cars off in the background. Head down to the hangar straight. Wojciech Savidovic already got a 3/4 of a second lead.
Laser Tools car on the grass. Alex, Robert Graham, I believe, and also struggling out there is Stanimir Zuzov. It looks like he's involved in something. Linus, there's a couple of cars off. Jeroen Kaiser, we mentioned a former winner here. Hyo Chan Lee as well. The Swedish-based driver Zuzov came through again, ploughed into the scene, and collected Kaiser again, Alex.
Yeah, unfortunate there. First time in the series as well. Don't want to start it like that. Looks like a few drivers had problems, but still all caught roughly in the sort of a train all the way down to 41st place.
Savidovic through Bridge Corner, Adam, and into the final sector. He's pulling out a tiny bit of a lead already over Lopez, who's struggling to get those tyres, it looks like, completely up to temperature on this first lap. As through looking is Andreas Katz into Brooklands on Sebastian Job. He's going to try and go around the outside of the Englishman, the German in the Oculus car.
Yeah, Sebastian Job is not having the best of first laps. He started second on the grid, and now he's already under pressure for the final podium spot. Puts a wheel or two into the grass there as we head through the final corner through Woodcote to complete the first lap of the race. He's already on the defensive. He's covering the inside line as we head into Copse. Katz is going to try and go around the outside, but Sebastian Job has just enough room to cut in front of the Oculus 360 car. Wojciech Savidovic leads by half a second over Lopez. Job in third, Katz fourth. Czepelewski in 5th, Baker in 6th, Fag in 7th place, then it's Daniel Hunt in 8th, 9th it is Steve Walker, and Pete Newman rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, Newman just ahead of Kraft, his teammate. They follow through Maggots and Chappell now, and it actually looks like, Alex, they're getting a bit closer to Savidovic, so he didn't seem to get a good run through the first sector.
Yeah, he didn't pull away there. Lopez does look very, very quick indeed, bringing Sebastian along with him as well, so Katz settled in just through that first sector. Just thought perhaps best not to fight there. Don't want to lose the draft of the front two.
Lopez almost had a look into Stowe, he was that close, and now Lopez having to defend himself from Job into Vale and through Club now makes Club a lot faster. and as they're staying together quite tightly packed towards Abbey, which is just the kink which we used to see, of course, until the late 80s in Formula 1. Davidovic's car sliding around into Bridge. It's a balancing act really, Adam, isn't it, through Bridge?
Yeah, indeed, and Savidovic just being able to hold on to the car there, and these four are getting ever closer now.
Rushworth, sorry guys, just to interrupt, Rushworth is making a move around the outside of Smolenski through Priory, that is, so into Brooklands. They're still side by side.
He looks like he's going to do it, Rushworth, former champion, up the inside into Luffield, and he's got the move done already. Excellent from Jamie Rushworth.
So he's only gained one spot already since the start, so I was expecting Rushworth to be carving his way through the pack, but he's only gained one spot. But of course he is already inside the reverse grid placings for race 2, so he might have that in mind as he works his way through Copse, and behind him Alex Smolenski in the later tools car goes out wide, typical touring car line there, and up in front of them we've got a battle between Luis Silveira and Paul Smith. They were quite close heading through the Magnussen Beckers complex, however they seem to have separated out a bit now as they head onto the hangar straight. However, back at the front of the pack, here comes Sebastian Job. He's in the slipstream of Adek over Lopez. Lopez is going to move to the inside, but Job's gone down the inside already into Stowe corner, and Sebastian Job gets the move done. He is through into second place.
Great move by Job there, but he's having to defend now from Lopez. Lopez to the outside line, and then through this slightly faster version of Vale and into Club. Alex Job needs to be careful as well that he doesn't wear out his tyres. So we saw that, we've seen that over the last few weeks. He's been a bit harder on them than some of the others.
Yeah, I just think the last 3 or 4 laps definitely stood out at Road Atlanta in the first race, so very cool here though, so I think the guys will be okay to push it all the rest of the race.
Baker having a look on Shepelevsky, Adam into Priory, and through the fast left-hander it looks like the Season 7 champions on the warpath.
Yeah, David Baker currently in 6th, which is usually his customary position, and of course he'll be trying to get past Dejan Shepelevsky. The gap between them 0.3, 0.4 of a second, and pretty soon we could have 6 cars battling for this lead, and in fact we could have 7 in a not too distant future, with Rob Fagg keeping a watchful eye as well. The top 7 separated by 2.2 seconds as they come across the line. 8 laps to go. Wojciech Savidovic just maintaining his lead. However, Sebastian Job looks in a hurry. He's already closing in on the Engine Oils Direct car, and if he has a good run through the Magnussen Beckers complex, we could be seeing him going for the lead down into Stowe.
Robert Fagg did a 45.4 to put himself right onto the back of this group. He was a second quicker than Daniel Hunt in 8th place, but Savidovic under severe pressure now through Chapel and down the hangar straight under the bridge. Is Savidovic going to go to the right hand side? Is he going to defend the line? He moves across now slightly to the middle of the track. Oh, and somewhat of a late decision. Can Job get the cutback, Alex? I think he's under more pressure from Coba Lopez, who's going to come through if he's not careful.
Yeah, I think you're right. He looked he thought about a really late move and actually put him under way more pressure than he hoped for there, but that's just the nature of this series. You make a move, and if it doesn't pay off, you're under the cosh straight away.
Yeah, we remember Adam Kimi Räikkönen in China all those years ago when he was in second place for a long time, and then he lost 1 place, and then he lost about 10 others. As look at Lopez, he's going to try to go around the outside in Bridge Corner.
Danny inside,
and into Priory, he's going to make it.
What a fantastic move there by Adeko Lopez.
Katz is coming through, a little bit of contact with Lopez. So the German going through.
Poor Sebastian Job hung out to try there by, I think he was surprised.
Oh, damage. Big time damage.
Yeah, he's dropping down the order, sat down to 7th place, and he's in the wall in fact. Sebastian Job, he started second on the grid, however he's now back in the pit lane. So terrible first race for Sebastian Job as we've now got 7 laps to go.
Ellis Stevens had some trouble at the start of that race as well, and he's now just moving out of the way and letting the leaders go through. Sensible driving by the man who was leading the incident, the lowest incident count at some point this season. Look at this battle going on now between Robert Fagg, Daniel Hunt, Steve Walker, Dan Kraft, Pete Newman, Laidler, Thompson, Field and Rushworth. They're all strung out together, Alex. It's really close.
Yeah, it's all about this second pack now. That first one just broke apart a little bit. I'm sure after a few laps that'll be back, but Yeah, like you say, this Daniel Hunt just hasn't been able to keep up with the front pack, and he's doing a good job at keeping his position, but Steve Walker looks like he's really keen to get by right now.
Yeah, Steve Walker, a former race winner, and there he goes.
Oh, he's right rear quarter panel.
Turned him round, and Kraft's nudged into Daniel Hunt, and I've just cursed Steve Walker saying he's a former race winner, but now it's going to be nearly 3 wide into this failed chicane.
Kraft and Hunt going at it.
And look at that, who's that round the outside? Is that Lee Thompson?
Yes, it is.
Trying to go around the outside of Laidler, and Field's in a bit of trouble there. He slowed down quite a lot into the Abbey King.
Side by side, Daniel Kraft and Daniel Hunt, the two Daniels going at it into Bridge. Kraft on the inside line though, and surely he's got the move done, but Hunt will have the momentum around the outside like Lopez to go, and Hunt will go down the inside into...
Look, Kraft's going for the cutback.
Is he going to get it done into Priory? Yes, he does get it done. Where is Hunt? He's still on the inside though, into Luffield. So just they're side by side still, and Hunt will get the move done, I think, on the exit, but they're still going to be side by side going into Copse, Andrew.
Oh, this is amazing. Through that final sector of the lap, and Thompson went a bit wide onto the AstroTurf there on the exit of Woodcote. Hunt turns it into Copse. Can see him soaring away at the wheel, but he's going to be under a lot of pressure. Is he going to defend the inside line from Daniel Kraft? Oh no, it's too fast through there, Alex, really, for anyone to make a move, and Hunt used that to his advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very tricky move. If you're going to put it through there, you've got to be completely alongside, and yeah, Kraft, I think though, he should get a good run this time into Stowe, I would think.
Here he comes down the back straight then, in the slipstream of the GT Omega car. The GT Omega car of Hunt just moving across the racetrack possibly.
What's happened to Sebastian Job?
Yeah, he's back in the pit lane after the damage sustained in the battle with Katz and Lopez. So yeah, terrible first race for... Oh, cars off in the background. I think that might be Smolenski.
Apologies.
Yes, and Hunt and Daniel Kraft still side by side. Kraft on the inside line. He's got his nose in there with Daniel Hunt, but Hunt will just hold on going out of club there. But look how close Daniel Kraft is, just nudging the back of the GT Omega car there as we head through Abbey side by side. That usually doesn't end well, and once again these two are going to be side by side into Bridge, Andrew.
Oh, he carried some great momentum through Daniel Kraft, and Hunt on the outside line, he made that work as well. It's a bit opportunistic. He slotted in there. Round the outside is Jamie Rushworth. Rushworth up to 10th position. He's going to trying to make that 9th, and it's all kicking off here. Laidler, he's in there as well.
Something's gone on with Smolenski as well. Smolenski's over the barriers. So I don't know what's happened there. Let's take a little look at that back on replay and find out what happened to Alex Smolenski there. So just picking up the replay, and they're coming out of club, goes a little bit defensive over the grass. Did he get slowed down there? No, he's not. So
contact between teammates, and it's turned into a big one.
Rushworth, Hunt involved, Kraft involved, and Pete Newman's going to skate through here.
And Hunt's crabbing all over the place. He needs to retire the car.
We'll catch that in a second. Let's jump to that. Who was the main person? We just saw what happened there with Smolenski.
Newman and Kraft hitting each other through Copse,
and then in turn hitting Rushworth, and then getting into the side of Daniel Hunt.
So we're looking at that back on the replay now.
Hunt's on the grass down the hanger straight.
Saw what happened there with Smolenski, but here we go into turn one. There's almost 3 wide going into there. 2 Pete Newman media cars. Just got run into behind, and then all 3 got collected. Nightmare.
Absolute madness.
Back at the front of the pack with...
It's the way they come back onto the track as well.
Yep.
4.5 laps to go. We've now got a 3-car battle for the lead of this race. Wojciech Savidovic leads. Adej Koba Lopez in second place with Andreas Katz in third. All 3 of these guys champions, and Savidovic goes wide. Here comes Lopez down the inside into Priory. Hard on the brakes, both of them. The Engine Oils Direct car versus the PowerMax car, and then the Oculus 360 car looking on in third place. Savidovic has the inside through Luffield, but Lopez will have the outside and possibly the run through Woodcote. Katz could be sensing an opportunity here.
Savidovic had a much better line through Woodcote. The inside line, he may have to defend into Copse, because Katz thinking about trying to get second place. Savidovic defending that, and you know what, Alex, he did a great job of defending that through Luffield from Lopez, because Lopez had a great run.
Yeah, I think also Lopez had got Katz to worry about. Katz was trying to get in on the action at the same time, so very tricky for Lopez to get that move complete. But these three definitely breaking away right now. Chepalevsky just can't quite stay with him, and Baker's all over him as well.
Yeah, Chepalevsky 4th on the grid. He is 4th now. Dave Baker in 5th.
Newman on Thompson. Sorry, guys, just having a look at that. They were getting into each other.
Oh, Thompson's on the grass.
Ooh.
Thompson's well off.
And he's on again.
And he's back on again. And he's going to lose 3 or 4 positions here. Laidler just needs to be patient, and he's going to make a spot here. But also Kraft, and they're going to be 3 wide down the hanger straight.
And that's not going to end well. Wow, how did they cut across there without hitting each other? That was Russell Laidler, Daniel Kraft, and Kraft is going to go down the inside, nearly goes into the back
Thompson.
of Silvera there, and he's going to hit Silvera.
Well, Thompson has nudged Laidler as well into Stowe. And are they going to try and go too wide through this chicane? Thompson on the outside, Field on the inside. Simon Field has won many races in this championship.
And now Kraft is going to try and get past Silvera. Kraft on the outside, Silvera on the inside. These two could be going too wide through Abbey.
Guys, got to jump back to the front battles.
Lopez through, yes.
Up the inside.
Yeah, Lopez takes the lead. Davidovic fighting back.
Down the inside.
Straight back through.
And Lopez will try and get the cut back before Katz can get there, and that's what he wanted. And I think he's going to have the superior straight lines now through Woodcote and down into Copse. Where's he going to put it though? Savidovic positioning his car brilliantly there as they head across the line. 3 laps to go in this first race. Savidovic on the inside, and Lopez will get the cut back, and they hit each other.
Big contact there going through Copse. Andreas Katz is going onto the right hand side of the track. Is he going to turn it into Beckett? And goodness me, Lopez had to slam the door in the German's face.
And now look at what's happened. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars all battling for the lead now as we head out onto the hangar straight.
Davidovic is hanging on like a man possessed, Alex. He will not relinquish this lead. He knows it's going to mean those podium credits.
He's a man who knows just where to put his car, and he's really showing that as Lopez goes for another move.
Adam, it's looking good for your pick. Adecopa Lopez, he said he was going to do it. I mean, he's got a very good chance. He's technically been in the lead twice in the last 3 laps. He just can't hold on to it.
Well, let's just hope it doesn't end in the fence like it did at Virginia. So he's still in second place for now. Katz in 3rd, with Chepalevsky in 4th and Baker in 5th. Just a few attempts now separating them now as they head into Abbey. But this is where Lopez seems to be at his best through the latter part of the lap. And look at him as he swings the car through Abbey and into Bridge. Savidovic hanging the car out there through the long right-hander, takes a different line to Lopez, and maybe that's how Lopez is gaining the positions. Takes a much better line through then into Priory. Savidovic seems to hold on for now, however, Lopez will continue to be a threat as we get to the line, as there'll be 2 laps to go.
They're now 6 seconds ahead of Robert Fagg as well. So Fagg's on his own in 6th, and he's 6 seconds ahead of Jamie Rushworth. But Alex, what's it like when you're defending from a pack of baying cars like that, and you know that it's almost, well, it's going to be very hard for you to keep that position?
Yeah, it's almost impossible to try and make a move, an offensive move as well. So, you know, it's so tricky you've got to really just pick your absolute time. And there's that battle a bit further back as well for 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th is hotting back up again as well.
And there's 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th are quite close as well. As Savidovic...
Oh, hood off as well, hood wide.
Oh yeah, in Copse corner. Oh, and he nearly took Walker with him, and Hefford, who was very quick at Road Atlanta, but he came a cropper into the wall. And now that's a great run by Lopez. Oh, and he just couldn't get close enough. There just simply isn't the braking area anymore, Alex, into Vale, into what usually was a tight chicane.
Yeah, I think, like I say, your option really is going into Bridge. That overtake position's closed up, but you can get alongside here.
Oh, here we go.
It opens it up nicely for Priory as well.
Almost making contact there, Adam. That would have been disastrous at 130 miles an hour.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to have an incident there. We've seen in Formula 1 what happens, and that's why they put a chicane in. And Abia Savidovic puts 2 wheels into the gravel. He's sensing the pressure, and he goes a bit wide there.
Lopez just nudged him.
Yeah, and now they're coming through Love Fields to start the final lap of the race, and it could be either Savidovic, Lopez or Katz. I think Chepelevsky and Baker are just a bit too far back to get the lead, but who knows what could happen. All three of these guys at the front of the pack could be off when we get back to the line in a lap's time. And here comes Lopez. Savidovic defending the inside line into turn one. Savidovic is going to go wide, I think. His tyres might be giving up, and here comes Katz to get all of them.
He's on
here
the
he
grass.
comes.
Oh, and he hits Savidovic.
And Savidovic just keeps the car on the track, and now Lopez is back into second place.
I have no idea how Savidovic stayed in front there. The Polish driver who now resides in Dublin, Ireland. Just the look of the Irish there, Alex. I don't know how he stayed in front.
No, not at all. We were on board with Lopez then, and we could see Cats all in the mirrors and everything. Oh, look at this!
Here comes Lopez and round the outside into Stowe. Savidovic is going to position his car to try and stop that happening. Off of Stowe corner,
beautiful.
down towards Vale. That is fantastic by Savidovic, but Lopez might have the inside into Vale. That's not normally an overtaking spot.
But Savidovic will have the inside into Club.
And he's going to try and get
Katz is looking on the inside as well.
Oh, be careful, Lopez. You don't want to get a slowdown.
And he doesn't want to slow down. And he also doesn't want to nudge Wojciech Savidovic into a spin. He pulls out from the slipstream of the engine all direct car, the Power Max machine. And Andreas Katz is coming as well. And he had the best run out of the three of them.
Down the outside goes Lopez. Lopez just keeps the car on the island, and he's got the lead, I think, into Brooklands.
Katz muscling his way past Savidovic. Savidovic is on the gravel. Into Priory. Now he's back on, and he's still going to keep the place, is he? No, he runs very wide. And that's going to allow Chapelevsky a sniff. And Baker, the season 7 champion as well. Never count out David Baker, Alex.
No, Baker always there, but the man that did it when it counted. Adeko Lopez, here he comes for an awesome victory. Congrats
what a
to
win.
him.
Wow.
What a win. On the last lap.
A lap or so ago, he was
wow.
just going through Copse. He was down to third place for a few seconds when Katz was trying to get the lead, and then he got second back, and then through Bridge, where I thought all three of them were going to go off. Oh, maybe there was a bit of tension there between Savidovic and Katz, but going through Bridge, he'd been mastering that move all the way through the race. He used it to get past Job, and he used it on Savidovic on the last lap to get that win. Fantastic job by Lopez.
Yeah, what a race from Wojciech, keeping his car precisely where he needs to, and it was just that one time where Lopez got a bit braver, Alex, didn't he? Had a bit more confidence, went down the inside in Priory, and that was all she wrote. He made sure that wouldn't stick.
Yeah, it all really started from actually the coming out of Stowe. He got up the inside going into Vale. We thought it probably wasn't going to work, but that let him have that line through Abbey, through Bridge, and through Priory there. So he set that move up about 6 corners back. So chess master there.
Because Savidovic had to use the tight line through Club, and it's really good, but in these cars it's quite difficult to keep the momentum up. And Adam, we nearly had a 5-car photo finish at the end there. It was that close.
Pretty much, and Savidovic in those final few corners just trying to wrestle the car back to try and hold on to his second place, and in the end he had to submit to Andreas Katz. Let's run you through the finishing order then from this really entertaining first race of the evening here at Silverstone. Adeko Lopez taking his first win since probably season 5. I'll have to look at the archives while we're in commercial break. Second place, Andreas Katz, only 0.3 of a second away in the end. Third for Wojciech Savidovic after leading all 10 of the 11 laps, and then Stelian Chepelevsky in 4th, David Baker in 5th. Jamie Rushworth from 17th on the grid. He managed to get a top 10 finish in the end. He finished in 6th. Rob Fagg started 7th, finished 7th, and then Pete Newman in 8th. Russell Layler in 9th. Daniel Kraft rounds out the top 10 11th. Lee Thompson with Simon Field in 12th. Bond in 13th with Luis Silveira in 14th. 15th Richard Gore with Paul Smith in 16th. 17th Steve Walker. 18th Steve Hefford. 19th Julian Janowski. 20th Ashley Blake Hood. 21st Stephen Burke after starting 42nd on the grid. 22nd Andrew Whitehead. 23rd Jay Wright. 24th Lee Berridge. 25th Kevin Noon. 26th Robert Graham. 27th Scott Malcolm. 28th Steve Richardson. 29th Linus Bostrom. And then 30th place it is John Roberts, and the list continues. 31st Mark Johnston. 32nd Daniel Hunt after that contact midway through the race, which put a dent in his chances of a top 10 finish. 33rd Robert Plumley. 34th Eckhart von Glan. 35th William Pritchard. 36th James Nash. 37th Sebastian Job, another casualty early on in the race. 38th Jerome Kaiser. 39th Stanimir Zuzov. 40th Hai Chan Lee. and then 41st Alex Malensky, and then the cars more laps down, Dan Blake, Ellis Stevens and James Leggett. That is how many cars we had in this field, and it was hard to keep up with all the action unfolding, but what a great first race.
Yeah, amazing action here at Silverstone. We apologise to everyone who was in the second half of the field that we didn't talk about, because the battle at the front was so good, and it seemed to the race seemed to fly by, Alex, with 41 out of the 44 cars finishing the first round of the evening.
Yeah, amazing, amazing turnout, amazing finish. For the most part, there was nothing really sort of kicked off at the start there, so yeah, that was all good. So really impressed with that, and just to see those few cars retire, it's, testament to how the series is going.
Well, we're about to find out who's going to be on pole position for race 2, and it's for those new to the series, it's the 15th to 26th place finishers that are eligible for the reverse grid pole, and that is Richard Gore, Paul Smith, Steve Walker, Steve Hefford, Julian Janowski, Ashley Blakehood, Stephen Burke, Andrew Whitehead, Jay Wright, Lee Berridge, Kevin Noon and Robert Graham. Alex, do you have the magic dice ready and waiting?
Yep, we'll get that up in just a second. Just take a little look back at a restart of the race. Right, let's bring the magic dice up while that's going on in the background.
It was a pretty clean start, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was a good start, actually. Very good start. That pace lap definitely made all the difference. I think we could have seen a really, really tricky first lap without that. So good call from the admins to do the rolling start. Right, here we go. 3 rolls coming up. First up is 15, followed by 23rd. And then we've got 22nd. So pole position's going to go to 25th.
Kevin Noon onto pole position, and he finished in 25th place with Lee Berridge starting alongside him, Jay Wright 3rd, Andrew Whitehead 4th and Stephen Burke in 5th position. However, this full reverse grid, Andrew, means that all of those championship contenders, as always, will be right in the thick of the action. And as we saw with Rushworth,
yes,
he had to work his backside off to work his way up into the top 10 in that race.
Yeah, indeed, and Kevin Noon, it's a big opportunity for him to show what he can do. I think Stephen Burke's going to be strong as well. He climbed up the field from 42nd to 21st. Alex, I suppose it depends on what the organisers elect to do with the start, doesn't it? As to really what chances the championship contenders have got.
Yeah, exactly. I think it is slightly hotter, so I expect that we'll just have the traditional stand-in starts. So it's going to be tricky. There was a little something go off at the start. I'm just having a little look at the replay now. A couple of cars definitely caught up in it towards the back. Not sure. I think that's one of the independents. Apex there, engine oil direct car involved in it as well.
Lee Chan Hyo was involved, and
it looked like that.
And
to be honest,
Nash and Zuzov, and
that did look like it was kind of like slightly cold tyres amplifying the situation there, though. Enough break them apart there when they're coming out of Chapel. The rest of the field's going. Where are they right now? That is Club Corner.
It's amazing, isn't it, Adam, what that major incident in the middle of the race did in terms of spreading out the pack. There was 11 seconds in the end between 5th and 6th places.
Yeah, and who knows if that crash hadn't happened, the amount of cars we would have had battling for the lead. I think at one point we had 6 or 7 cars battling for the lead, but yeah, in the end we had that 5-car breakaway, the Lopez, Katz, Savidovic, Shepelevsky and Baker all battling it out for the lead, and then a good battle to see Jamie Rushworth get all the way up into 6th place. So who knows?
Robert Fagg apparently was saving fuel at the end. That's why he lost a position, so he didn't put quite enough petrol in it, Alex, and that's something you don't really want to do.
No, disaster. There's nothing worse than Silverstone as well. You need absolutely all the power you can get coming out of Luffield there. Saving fuel, having to tippy-toe it to the line is just not going to work.
Nope. And it's been a great first race of the evening here on this very, very warm Thursday night here in England, and we'll be back very, very shortly. Thanks for joining us for the first race. We'll be back in a good 5 or 10 minutes time for race 2 of the evening from Silverstone Historic Circuit.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com. Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com. Simulated racing can be awesome, but can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV for this round 2 of the evening from the Silverstone Historic Circuit in Northamptonshire, England. My name is Andrew Woodhouse alongside Adam Bath and Alex Simpson. And Alex, I'll bring you in first this time. Sunny weather here, it's just like it's been in England the last few days.
Yeah, it's been gorgeous, hasn't it, the last couple of days, and track looks like that now on screen, so yeah, going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I feel for sure tyres are going to burn up and eat up a little bit quicker, so might be a little bit harder for late overtake moves. The pack might spread apart a little bit more, who knows.
Adam Bath, this is your 5th season in the championship, I believe, and we're playing for $10,000 of prize fund this season, and it is an extraordinary amount of money for a sim racing league. It's equal to only the iRacing World Championship Series.
Yeah, of course, $10,000 on the line, and that's going to be split, of course, between the top teams in the Teams Championship and the top drivers in the Drivers' Championship. So it's all really to play for, as we're now just after the 1/3 mark of the season. The reverse grid, of course, for the second race of the evening. Kev Noon on pole position. Just going back to that stat earlier, last time a day Kobe Lopez won a race in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship all the way back in season 6, I do believe, at the Silverstone National Circuit, all the way back in September 2014. So it's been quite a while since Lopez has been able to take a victory in the series. Of course, he's been joining the series on and off throughout the last few seasons, so good to see him have another win, and we'll see if he can do any more good performances in the second and third races. Andrew, what does the reverse grid look like for the second race of the evening?
I don't know, I don't have it.
Yeah, neither do I, that's why I went to you.
I know that Kevin Noon's on pole. Alex, can you help us out with that?
I can't actually.
Preparation here.
Yeah, well, they changed the way the results pop up, and they don't pop up now, do they? So
yeah,
that's what we
2
used to
seconds.
use.
I'll get them up
We'll
for you on
find
the
them.
lead.
We'll be back to you very shortly. We've got 5 minutes left to qualify.
Teams Championship, we'll have a look at that.
Team Championship, yes.
In the Teams Championship at the moment, it is Engine All's Direct leading on 11,000 points, with GT Omega 600 points behind. And in terms of the Team Championship, that isn't a lot, with Volatile Element in third, only 200 points behind them. Power Max is in fourth, with Pete Newman Media in fifth, Oculus 360 in sixth, Apex Racing TV, where the luck doesn't seem to be shining on them, is down in seventh, with Laser Tools in eighth, OGR, the disbanded team that no longer races, in ninth, and Team Carnage is in 10th position.
Well, Carnage should be able to go above Oven Gleam very soon, because Robert Fagg's turned up here, and I believe there still are Team Carnage members racing, just not very often, unfortunately for them. We did see Stefan Hoog briefly into the session. I think he's come back in now, so he's having some equipment trouble, so he missed the first round. But as we said, Adam, he's a previous winner here, and him going from the back of the grid could be interesting.
Yeah, Stefan Hoog has won here at Silverstone in the past, so starting all the way back in the 40s, though, that's definitely going to be hard for him
in the
to
40s,
get those,
yes.
Yeah, to get those positions.
That's demoralising, Alex, isn't it, when you look at your starting number and it starts with a 4?
Yeah, I think you used to see it around about 32, 33. So yeah, just goes. It's just awesome, isn't it, to see? There's 45 cars this time. Epic.
And then a wild Colin Cuniff has appeared as well, so he might.
Colin.
Yes, those familiar with Apex Racing TV might remember Colin Cuniff from GP260 back in the day as well. Looking at the practice times, you can't really read too much into it. The car's slightly slower in these hotter conditions. That's one of the things with iRacing. The cars seem to lose a bit of speed. Alex, is it going to change the approach for any of these drivers in these Kia Optimas throughout the second race?
No, I think they might be a little bit more careful, perhaps on, say, the corner exits, just so they don't eat out the front tyres too much. But not a great deal. Looking at the track temperature, 35 degrees. I mean, it's pretty hot, but it's not crazy. So I think actually they'll still be relatively okay. If the temperature continues to rise up and into the third race, mind you, that could be a different kettle of fish. Little story? I don't know. Lost it.
It's thermal degradation, though, isn't it, mate? That's the real problem with these tyres. They're not sort of running out due to wear, they're running out due to the heat.
Exactly. That's it. It's the heat. It's not the wear. You take the tyres off and look in the garage. They're going to be sort of like, 90% wear or tread still left on them. It's just the heat. They're just basically burning up. So this current tyre build, very thermal sensitive. too much load, just too late on the brakes, just having to brake so heavy, you just start to burn them up, and before long, you're just going backwards with the pace you've got. It's going to take you 2 or 3 laps to get them cooled down. In this little sprint series, 2 or 3 laps is a third of the race, so you just can't afford to do that.
And Silverstone, of course, probably the worst track to have to worry about tyre wear.
Yeah, of course, with those tight and twisty corners at the beginning of the lap, and then hard on the brakes, putting more heat through the tyres in the final part of the lap. So the driver's going to have to be have their wits about them for that. And maybe that's what happened to Wojciech Savidovic at the end. I know he was caught off guard by Adeko Lopez, but he still had to wrestle the car through those final few corners, and maybe the tyres were having a play there. Let's have a look at the grid for the second race of the evening. Kevin Noon is on pole position with Lee Berridge alongside him. Jay Wright is in third position with fourth place is Andrew Whitehead. Fifth, it is Stephen Burke with Ashley Blake Hood in sixth. Seventh, Julian Janowski. Eighth, Steve Hefford. Ninth, Steve Walker. 10th, it is Paul Smith. 11th, Richard Gore. 12th, Louis Silvera. 13th, Laura Bond. 14th is Simon Field with Lee Thompson in 15th. 16th, Daniel Kraft. 17th, Russell Laidler. 18th, it is Pete Newman. 19th, Robert Fagg. 20th, Jamie Rushworth. And then we get into the cars that were battling for the lead. 21st, David Baker. 22nd, Stelian Chepelevsky. 23rd, Wojciech Savidovic. 24th, Andreas Katz. And then 25th, our race 1 winner, Adeko Lopez. 26th, Robert Graham. 27th, it is Scott Malcolm. 28th, Steve Richardson. 29th, Linus Bostrom. And then rounding out the top 30, it is John Roberts.
What an exciting grid in prospect, Alex. And do any of the championship contenders have a chance to come through from those lowly positions?
It's going to be tough. The hard track's certainly going to make it a little bit more difficult. It's a huge reverse grid as well, so again that makes it even harder. Not particularly easy to overtake here, as we saw in that last race. I think if we were looking at the normal sort of F1 layout, then it'd be a lot easier. 2 more very clear braking zones for them, but yeah, it's going to be tough.
And the standing start for race 2, round 38. Just moments away from the start. Look at these cars stretching almost all the way back to Luffield on this old starting grid here at Silverstone. The red lights are on.
Green, green, green.
And the green light is on at Silverstone. Kevin Noon away pretty well from the first row. And look at the volatile element car coming up the middle. And that's actually Blake Hood.
All those cars streaming around.
Some contact. Off goes a Pete Newman media car. I think that's Stephen Burke, very, very wide. So Noon leading, and it was a poor start for Lee Berridge, but he maintained second place. Steve Burke's on the grass again. Oh, bouncing around over the grass. And he comes on just in front of Hefford, who avoids disaster, and he tries to go around the outside at Maggotts. That's not going to work either, but he might get the run down towards the Stowe corner, down the hanger straight. And Blake Hood's under pressure now, Alex.
Yeah, great start from everybody. There looks like there was a couple little bits of contact here and there, but they are all just trying to fight for some sort of place. Just looking at Hanger Straight right now, it's absolutely packed. Oh, there's a little bit of contact between Svidovic and I think that's Chepelevsky.
Like the roads of Bedford, Alex. Just packed with nonsense.
Steve Richardson off onto the grass as well, just getting his
Blake
back
Hood. Blake Hood very wide through Club Corner. He's having to come back on. You were right about them going out onto that advertising, Alex. That's definitely the touring car line. There's about at least 10 of them out there. Adam, it looks like Hefford's going to try and move into Bridge.
Yeah, Stephen Burke having to defend the inside line, but Hefford will have the good run through Bridge, and you saw how Stephen Burke was so slow through there after taking the inside line, and this is now bunching all the rest of the pack up now as we head into Priory and Luffield and Brooklands, the last few corners on this racetrack. Hefford trying to go around the outside. Surely that won't work through Luffield, and that's going to allow the volatile element car of who's Ashley Blake Hood to get back through as Hefford gets forced out onto the grass as we come around to complete lap number 1.
That's another thing, Alex, that the higher temperatures are going to mean for these drivers, is that they just simply can't pull those outside moves now. There just isn't enough grip.
That's it. It's all going to be about just trying to get maybe a little cut back or something like that. It's the way to make it work. There's 3 wide just coming out of Copse Corner there, just a bit further back.
Smith having a look as well into the S's. This might allow Kevin Noon to escape. He's got a 1 second lead over Lee Berridge, Adam. It's a good start for Noon. We haven't seen... Oh, goodness me! Burke nearly turned around by Ashley Blake Hood. And a good save by the Pete Newman media driver, but that might allow Steve Hefford to get a run on the ball. And look at Paul Smith on the outside.
Very wide as we head down the Hanger Straight. That is the purple car on the inside. That is one of the
Paul Smith, isn't it? Oh, Smith goes through and he's missed his breaking point.
Apex Racing TV car out of control, and it takes out. I don't know who it was because who was it?
It's
number 17, Richard Gore. He got turned across.
I can hear contact.
He got turned across the inside going into Stowe and then just clattered into one of the GT Omega cars. So yeah,
I think it was Nash as well that was hit, and Leggett as well off, and Laura Bond. Yo-Chan Lee's at the back as well. I think he might have got caught up in that. He's been unfortunate. Still, Noon still leads, and he's leading well, Alex, from Lee Berridge.
Yeah, sorry, just looking at a little bit of a replay back there, just catching up with what everything was going on there. Just there's a few cars hopping over the grass afterwards there, so shame there for a couple of the Apex guys. But this race is still hotting up pretty much at the front. But
Smith's lost a place to Thompson, so Lee Thompson has gone through into, just see which position that is when they cross the line. So that's P8 for Lee Thompson, so that's a good start. Daniel Kraft up into 10th from 16th. Rushworth's already made up 8 places off the grid, Adam, making his usual great start.
Yeah, Rushworth from 20th on the grid up into 12th position after only completing 2 laps of racing here. So on the verge of the top 10 once again for the season for a champion. Heading out onto the Hanger Straight, Stephen Burke still ahead of Steve Hefford in 4th place. Ashley Blake Hood in 5th, Simon Field 6th, Steve Walker 7th, and in 8th it is Lee Thompson, 9th Daniel Kraft, and then who's that side by side in the background? That is Steve Walker. The purple volatile element card. That is
Paul Smith.
Paul Smith, yes, side by side with the GT Omega car.
Look at it fanning out at the back as well.
Vidovic as well, trying to get past Rob Fagg as well. There's a GT Omega car. That's Janowski, is it around?
And Louis Silvera involved as well.
Massively through there. So
this isn't going to work into Vale. Janowski, look at the damage on that Kia. Newman's been hit, I think. He's not gone across the grass and he's smashed into one of the Laser Tools cars, and it's still going around Club Corner. I think that's Smolensky involved. Oh, and it's, yeah, they've gone. So Smolensky and
Mark Johnston
are off.
No, it's not Smolensky.
Oh, it's Graham. Sorry, it's Rob Graham.
Burke off. Burke is off as well in Brooklands, and there's more contact as well.
Hit Walker.
And as they head
getting a little scrappy out there, Alex, in the early going.
Yeah, this is pretty much the nature of the, I think, of the reverse grid racing. Everybody just trying to fight their way through.
Davidovic has got past right into, I think that's 12th, but I'll just confirm that with you in a second. So that's 14th, right, lost 3 places on that lap. Baker's coming up through the field as well. In fact, Baker's only made 2 places off the grid, Adam, and that's unlike him.
Oh, there's contact around Baker as well. Who was that who went flying off? I think
it was Silvera, I think.
Yeah, Silvera. Just got himself all out of shape through one. I'm pretty sure he got a little tag going in there. Manages to keep the car under control though.
Yeah, Luis Silvera there in a bit of bother. Adam, you seeing anything out there that you're interested? Oh, Savidovic! Savidovic is hit,
he's round!
And he's round onto the Hanger Straight. He saved it brilliantly. Oh, he's coming onto the track.
And he hits just has a harmless tap with the Armco on the outside there, and somehow he keeps it on the track, down to 19th though.
He was on one side of the track to the other, came back across, sideways at one point. He was 90 degrees, Alex, and he only just barely scraped the wall.
That's some driving there, and that right there is why he's currently leading the championship, because he's had a few of those.
Oh, somebody's gone. One of the Apex cars has gone right across the inside of Club Corner, and I think he's got away with it without a cut track penalty there. And he's trying to go through on the inside. Ooh. I think it's Sebastian Job battling with Whitehead and the 26 car of Jay Wright.
Battle for 4th place between Berridge, Walker, and they all getting turned around. Simon Fields is involved, and all 3 Pete in the media cars there. 3 wide into Fields. Stephen Burke getting turned sideways. and more contact, and that's the GTM Mega car and Powermax car there with Russell Laidler and Jamie Rushworth.
Well, the 3 blue cars, Pete Newman Media, they're their teammates. They don't want to hit each other. But Lee Thompson's going to have a little look as well. He's in 8th place. He's trying to... Oh, and somebody's very sideways through Cop's corner. I think that was Burke. Burke's having all sorts of handling problems out there,
no,
Alex.
Don't do that. Turned across the front of everyone. And that's Rushworth involved.
Got himself disqualified as well because of
Burke's disqualified. That's the second week in a row where, well, he hasn't exactly followed the driving standards protocol, and Kevin Noons continues to lead from Ashley Blake Hood. So Noon for Oculus doing an excellent job, Adam, in the opening laps. Half distance.
Yeah, and look at that, swerving all over the track down the hanger straight just to disturb the slipstream there of Ashley Blake Hood, but Blake Hood's going down the inside into Stowe. Noon cuts across. They're both side by side on the exit, and Noon will just hold on. He has to go over the grass though, just maintains the lead as they head into Vale, and that's going to allow Lee Berridge to get through. Almost.
I can hear contact into Stowe.
Yeah,
Alex,
there's 2 cars around.
Oh yeah, there's something big going on out down there now. Oh, who is that? Who's dropping? Robert Fagg was involved in it. I think he's got himself disqualified as well. Oh, they're 4 wide. I'm on the replay now. They're 4 wide going into that. They collect the 2 cars in front of them. Somebody was already off ahead. That was Paul Smith as well. And yeah, just people getting disqualified all over the place there. So
Berridge defending from Walker, but he's lost that position, and in fact Fields muscled his way through. Kraft's going to follow through Brooklands. There's nothing really Berridge can do apart from just try to keep the inside line for Luffield, but he can't even do that as the Pete Newman Media cars have just sailed through. Lee Thompson is the next person to have a go. Kevin Noon leads the 5th lap, and how is it he's going to try to stay in front, Alex? What can he do?
Yeah, he just needs to make sure he hits all his marks, doesn't make any sort of mistakes. It seems like
that one.
Yeah, Blake.
Oh no, he's all right.
Got the pace on him, but Walker's getting involved in it as well. So just let them battle behind. Just keep them boxed in there.
Noon got a great exit from Cops though, didn't he?
And
off goes Blake Hood. He's all the way off the course.
Well, he's definitely going to get a slowdown if he comes back on.
That'll work.
That'll work.
Walker
came back on, he didn't hit anything, and
Walker in 2nd, Simon Field now 3rd, Daniel Kraft 4th, and Blake Hood
Noon's
side by side with
the
Berridge.
inside. He needs to get further over than that because Walker's going to come through. He doesn't need an invitation. Steve Walker.
Oh no!
Well, that was clumsy.
Well, Noon, I don't think he heard the word clear, and he just cut across him. So
even if he did, he didn't listen.
Oh God, Noon versus Field there as they headed into Vale, and now it's Pete Newman for the win. We've got Field and Kraft, the 2 Pete Newman Media cars. They're now right with Kev Noon, and Noon could be a sitting duck here if he's not too careful, because these Pete Newman Media cars are coming at him at a full head of steam as they head through Abbey.
Lee Berridge is still there, Alex, as well. He's still in 4th place. He still thinks he can win it. And Simon Field getting sideways into Bridge under braking, and he's going to force his way through on Noon now. Surely there's nothing Kevin can do. Field is through. Kraft is through.
The outside line does not normally work.
Peter Newman Media into 1st and 2nd places.
Noon now turns Kraft around.
In contact with Kraft.
The Noon back into 2nd place with Berridge now 3rd. Blake Hood 4th, and now it's side by side between Thompson and Laidler.
Thompson's on the gravel, and Laidler's coming through. Alex, it's crazy up there.
Yeah, I thought Kraft was a bit opportunist to think that he's going to be able to just cut into that corner while Noon was on the inside. Noon was always going to have that inside line there. Oh, there's contact.
Contact with that's Thompson and Berridge making contact.
2 wide into Maggers and Beckers, doesn't normally end well, and they somehow manage to sort each other out. The 2 volatile element cars nearly come to blows. Oof. Steve Walker and Ashley Blake Hood having a bit of door handle to door handle action there through Maggers and Beckett's, and
Blake Hood's really struggling with the first sector, Adam.
Look who's coming, guys. Look at the 3 cars that are hunting him down right now.
Oh dear. Here comes Savidovic, I take it.
Yeah, exactly that. 3 of the fastest guys in this series at the minute.
They haven't got involved with each other, and they're just closing up the gap.
And they're loving every second of this.
Yeah.
And now Thompson is trying to wrestle the 3rd place on the podium spot away from Lee Berridge, heading out of Stowe. Berridge is maintaining his 3rd place, but Russell Layla senses an opportunity here to get into the podium placings as they head through Club and down to Abbey.
It's Thompson that Laidler's working on here for 4th place, so Berridge is still 3rd. Thompson whose car's a bit damaged, Alex, but he shows bravery through the Abbey Kink.
And he's through.
Yeah, great move. Carried the speed. Is he going to hold it? This is always the hardest place to hold it. Goes a bit wide, I think.
Three wide.
Inside.
3 wide into Brooklands.
Berridge is going to short. He gets hit from behind by Walker, and that's going to allow Layla to get both of them.
And Thompson clipped Layla as well. Walker got shoved wide.
They've arrived here. Sebastian Job, Andreas Katz, and Wojciech Savidovic. What are they going to do? Here we come to the line. 4 laps to go then in race number 2. It's Russell Laidler heading this because Berridge and Thompson go at it side by side down the straight into the right-hander at Copse. More contact. Kraft is hit.
Bit of contact there. Off goes Walker. He decides to go to the outside line instead of risky. And they're 3 wide. Savidovic, Katz, and Blake under 3 wide.
Savidovic somehow manages to hold on. He was right in the middle there. Katz trying to sort of thread his way through. He's just taking his time. Katz in 9th, Savidovic in 10th. And as we head out onto the hangar straight, what are the positions like now? Laidler 3rd, Thompson 4th.
Sorry, 5th. Simon Field leads by 2.5 seconds. Just want to get that out there because he's clear now. Kevin Noon, 1.5 ahead of Russell Laidler. But that gap's coming down. Lee Thompson in 4th. The former World Championship driver. And then Lee Berridge in 5th. It's all very tight there. Walker's having to defend from Savidovic, Alex, into Vale.
Yeah, and it looks like job on Kraft as well. These guys are trying to make their way through this pack as well now. This is going to be a crazy last 4 laps.
Here comes Sebastian Job. Job off of club. Right in the slipstream of Daniel Kraft. He's not going to try and make a move yet as they head through Abbey, but he's certainly going to have the speed as they head into Bridge, trying to get past Berridge as well, just to make things even more complicated as they head through Bridge and into Brooklands.
That was never going to work.
Well, at the bump and run, it sort of worked, and that's going to allow Katz to go down the inside as well. Katz through into 7th place. Savidovic just watching everything unfold as Walker now gets a bit of Lee Berridge as well. And Savidovic hits Walker out the way as they head through Luffield, and he's going to try and get Berridge as well. But up in front, so Lee Thompson is a battle for second. Lee Thompson, Kev Noon, and Russell Laidler. We could be going 3 wide once again as they head down the front straight.
Who's going to risk it into Copse Corner? Can Thompson make it stick? On the inside line, Apex Racing TV, Russell Laidler, GT Omega, and Kevin Noon for Oculus. Into Beckett's, they're going to come.
Berridge and Blake I think just got disqualified.
We had a little bit of contact.
Really?
I'm also hearing that Sebastian Job is 1 point away from disqualification. I hope no one hears this and goes and hits him right now. But so he is not going to be risking anything in these closing laps.
I was going to comment on just how well Berridge had done, but it seemed like other people were hitting him all the way through the race. Alex, he's ended up getting kicked out of the race, black flagged, and Russell Laidler up the inside there of Kevin Noon into Stowe Corner. Up and over the crest and down the hill towards Vale, and Laidler's got the inside, but if Noon can hang it round the outside, he'll have the inside line for club, but he can't do that. He might get a switch back. No, it's just, you can't do it there, can you? There's not enough actual track to make that work. Couple of people very wide there.
Joe. And let's see what Savidovic and Katz can do. Savidovic and Katz battling over 7th and 8th as they head through Abbey. Savidovic right with the Oculus 360 car as Katz is going to defend the inside line into Bridge, and they close up on Kraft. They're all closing up on Kevin Noon. That's the problem. Kraft down the inside of Job into Brooklands.
This is where the big boys play. Reigning champion versus current championship leader and former champion Wojciech Savidovic.
Sebastian just lets them all go. He knew he wasn't going to finish the race there. He just too risky for him. He needs the points, so in the end he just has to concede to them.
If he finishes in 6th place, I think he'll be very happy. Simon Field has cleared off 4.3 seconds. Kevin Noon continues to be 2nd. Can Daniel Kraft go up the inside? If Noon turns it in, no, you'd be mad to turn in there, Daniel.
And here comes Savidovic to get all the positions because Kraft and Katz were held up there through Copse. Here comes Savidovic. He's on the outside and will have the inside for Beckett. He swoops past both of them.
Brilliant.
How courageous was that by Wojciech Savidovic? Through into 5th place. Next on his list is Kevin Noon.
Alex mentioned that's why he was the champion. That sort of driving skill, and again, just a sheer bravery, mate. You must be impressed with that into the fastest part of the course, Neil.
Yeah, fantastic driving, great move. You don't often see it around there. It's just been epic.
Crazy racing here in the BSR TC Pro Series. Glad that you could join us here. Andrew Woodhouse, Adam Bath, Alex Simpson from Silverstone Historic, and it has been a historic event here. It's been action-packed from start to finish. Simon Field leads, Thompson in second, Laidler third, fourth for Kevin Noon, fifth for Savidovic, and then it's Kraft, and then it's Katz in sixth, seventh Kraft, and eighth for Sebastian Job.
Here comes Savidovic then on Kevin Noon, side by side through Abbey. Noon hasn't got the speed, and Noon nearly turns Savidovic off. That was high speed action there. Savidovic was nearly in the wall, and here comes Andreas Katz in sixth to try and get past the season 6 champion. As Savidovic hits Noon, and that was to be expected. And now Noon's through. Katz gets hit by Kraft. Kraft is off, and Kraft is disqualified.
DQ. Too many incidents there for Daniel Kraft.
We haven't seen this. We haven't seen this in the championship for a while, Andrew. The amount of disqualifications.
This is aggressive racing, and for good or for bad, Alex, this has been really entertaining regardless as they go into the final lap.
Yeah, Noon again under pressure from Job this time. Job's got Walker for company. He's going to be nervous going through this turn one. He doesn't want any kind of contact whatsoever.
Oh, be careful, Walker.
Seb needs to get out of the way, really. I know that's been very, very sort of cautious of me, but I don't think he can risk even a tap up the back, Alex.
No, exactly. This is he's not in the play or in the showdown positions right now, is he? So he needs to. He needs all the points he can get. Last race was a disaster as far as he was concerned, so he can't afford to lose anything.
He may be able to smell a top 5, but he doesn't need a top 5. He just needs the points. And Noon across the track nearly. Swerving.
Battle for second as well between Russell Laidler and Lee Thompson. Those two are side by side as we head into Vale. Laidler will have the inside line, but look, he's out of control through the grass.
And he's nearly
just
lost
back
it.
On. And
Thompson
takes that. Thank you very much.
Yep. Merry Christmas. Right up the inside. He didn't get a great run out of club though. He might be under a little pressure coming into Bridge Corner. Through Abbey goes Laidler. He's in the slipstream, but I don't think he's going to make it. Oh, Thompson very early on the brakes into Bridge, Alex. That almost caught Laidler by surprise.
Yeah, Laidler's got one opportunity, I think, maybe into Brookland. If he can get up the inside, it's not going to happen. He's too far away. Lee covers it off.
Simon Field coming round the field for the final time. At the end of lap 11, Field is going to take race 2 here of the evening here at Silverstone for Pete Newman Media. Simon Field, excellent drive from 13th on the grid, and it's going to be Lee Thompson who takes second for Apex Racing TV.
Noon got disqualified last lap.
Wow.
Got
it. Some contact and he disappeared. So
I think that would have been his best ever finish as well. Robbed on the very last lap. Savidovic in 4th, 5th for Katz, 6th for Job, and then Walker in 7th, 8th Broström, 9th Pete Newman himself, and 10th for Laser Tools. Alexander Smolenski with good points for the Scottish team, Alex.
What a great race. I mean, very aggressive, you have to say. There was a lot of disqualifications for a reason out there, but
poor Kevin Noon.
It was aggressive, but it was kind of the good kind of aggressive, Adam.
Yeah, very enjoyable. And it was great to see those guys working their way through the pack. They emerged at about the 2/3 distance, and we saw how quickly they were able to gain those positions. Savidovic and Katz finishing in 4th and 5th. I was just looking back at what happened to Kev Noon.
Sorry, I'm just going to go on something that you bring up quite regularly, Adam. Only 3 cars who started inside the top 10 finished in the top 26.
Oh, let's have a look at the cars let's have a look at the cars that finished from 32nd on back. We had Kev Noon who started on pole. We had Lee.
So he'll score points, remember, as well.
Yep. So because he only finished 1 lap down. Second on the grid was Lee Berridge. He finished in 36th. Third on the grid was Jay Wright, who finished in 13th. 4th was Stephen Burke, who finished in 43rd. Ashley Blake Hood started 5th, finished 37th. He got disqualified. Julian Janowski started 6th. He finished 41st. Steve Hefford started 7th. He finished 39th. And Steve Walker started 8th, finished 7th. There's a gain. 9th. Paul Smith, and he finished 14th, and then 10th Richard Gore, he finished 27th. Just looking back at what happened to Kev Noon, he just got throttled by Steve Walker right behind, and that just ended Kev Noon's race.
That's
Very
3
unfortunate.
laps from the checkered flag. You would be, you know...
3
you'd
corners, was
you
it?
would, 3 corners from the checkered flag. You would be pissed. Seriously pissed. There was no need for Walker to come steamrolling in there on that. So
Let's have a... I'm going to have a look as
shame on
well.
you, Walker.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good day to be called Steve, really, is it? I mean,
It's almost as if he
Burke's
made
been
no
on
attempt to take the corner there.
Let's have a look. Was it
Well, what-
Brooklands?
It's heading into heading into.
Oh, that's appalling. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry, but he saw a free position there, didn't he?
yeah.
And he
Well,
went, bang, bye.
I'm sure he didn't know that he was on those points, so I'm not going to...
No, but he still saw the chance to knock him off, I think.
Yeah.
Accidentally or not, it was kind of, oops, sorry, and on his way.
Well, let's have a look at the rest of the finishing order. Alex Walensky finished in 10th. Stefan Hoog, 45th to 11th. Well, we said at the top of the show how tough that was going to be for him. I think 11th he can pat himself on the back for that. 12th, Scott Malcolm. 13th, Jay Wright. 14th, Paul Smith. 15th, Andrew Whitehead. And then we're getting into the reverse grid territory here. 15th, Andrew Whitehead. 16th, Ellis Stevens. 17th, Dan Blake. 18th, Jamie Rushworth. 19th, David Baker. 30th, Stanimir Zuzov. 21st, Jerome Kaiser. 22nd, Steve Richardson. 23rd, Hyo Chan Lee. 24th, James Leggett. 25th, John Roberts. And then 26th was Colin Cunniff.
Adam, I didn't even notice Stefan Hoog in that race. What? That was a hell of a drive.
45th to 11th, yeah.
And Smolensky, 40th to 10th. I mean, Alex, those are 2 gladiatorial performances there.
Yeah, and Colin Cunniff as well. You look where
Yeah.
he was as well. That was from the back, his first race, and he gets up to there as well. So, got some some serious talent coming.
I'll be honest,
coming through in
but-
this series.
And Sebastian, 36th to 6th. I'm not even sure. Have we, Adam? You'll probably know this better than I will, or Alex. But have we ever had a bigger grid than 45 in BSRTC?
Well, it all depends, of course, on the restrictions that the organisers put on pit sizes. I think Silverstone's got quite a big one. I think Spa might just be bigger, but
Bar's
yeah,
got over 60 grid
Yeah,
slots,
let's have
I think.
60 for Spa.
yeah.
Come
So
on.
if it's 45 at Silverstone,
If we're struggling to keep
who
up
knows
with it
what it's
now,
going to be like at
yeah, God.
I'm just having a look at the lap charts here just to see Stefan Hoog's progress after the race. What colour is he? He started in 45th place on the grid. In one lap, he managed to get up to 38th, and the following
Alright.
lap. Then in the following lap, oh god, there's too many cars really for. Oh no, he's up to 42nd after lap 1. Then lap number 2, he was up to. He gained quite a few spots on lap number 2. By the end of lap 2, he was up to 28th. Then he was up to 23rd, 22nd, 20th. Then he got 19th. Then gained quite a few positions. In one lap, he went from 19th all the way up to 12th, and then managed to get 11th by the time the checkered flag went out. So that's Stefan Hoog's race. What a race 2 from him.
Right, Magic Dice time. Had it up on screen. Everyone will be wondering what it's going to
Yeah.
be.
yes,
Reverse
it
grid.
is.
Let's do
Andrew
the rolls.
Whitehead, Ellis Stevens, Dan Blake, Jamie Rushworth, David Baker, Stanimir Zuzov, Jerome Kaiser, Steve Richardson, Hyo Chan Lee, James Leggett, Roberts and Colin Cunniff. Those are the cars eligible.
All of the rolls so far for the dummies have been in the 20s. What's this final one going to be?
Their
19th.
fate was in your hands,
David
my
Baker.
friends. David
David
Baker.
Baker
on-
Baker.
Wow.
And Jamie Rushworth will be singing your phrases, Alex, right now. He's
What a
had
jammy get.
second place on the grids, Jamie Rushworth, with Dan Blake in 3rd, Ellis Stevens 4th, and Andrew Whitehead in 5th. I think you can say the big winners from this reverse grid are Power Maxed.
Yeah, and Ellis, I mean, Ellis has had a shocking couple of races as well, and he'll be glad to, I think, just get a start at the front. Because, Alex, it does make a big difference in a grid like this. I mean, you know from the World Championship, you race on a grid of 35, is that right? And
Yep.
that's bad enough sometimes, I think.
Yeah, that's mental enough, especially in the early laps, so 45 even more. And the thing is, these 45 are probably separated by the same sort of gap as what the World
Yeah.
Championship is, to be fair.
The quality of this series is second to none. I mean, it's the best. I think it's the best hosted league on iRacing, apart from the World Championship in terms of quality. And these guys are just superb drivers, very, very closely matched. And I mean, Alex, you've raced in that series, and hopefully we'll get you racing in this one at some point. But what do you make of the quality in this series? It must be up there.
Oh no, it completely is. I mean, the car does allow for some bumping and banging, which is why we do see the odd accident. And we don't discourage that at all, because it wouldn't be touring car racing without that. But yeah, so there's some frustration does creep in, but for the most part, when I'm sure we can take a highlights package out of this and put together a 50 minutes highlights of all the 2, 3, 4 wide action that's going to go off from this week's racing. That just shows you how good it is, and that's not including the ones that end up in wrecks.
Yeah, Adam, I think the series is as strong as it's ever been after a race like that. I mean, it was just action from green flag to checkered flag.
Oh yeah, to see how the series has developed. So I started covering the series back in season 5, and the field still has some big names on it back in there. We had Wojciech Savinovic just starting out his BSRTC career back in season 5, and in those 4 seasons he's managed to take a championship and is still at the top of his game. And we've got even more and more guys adding to the mix. We saw David Baker in season 7, and Andreas Kaz coming back to add to his titles as well, and having the odd guy coming in like a Jacobo Lopez to add to the mix. Funny enough, Jacobo Lopez wasn't he had a bit of a bad race too, finished in 40th, 8, 6 laps down. But yeah, this championship continues to go from strength to strength, and the quality of racing never ceases to amaze me. Every single race meeting we've had so far this season has been quite brilliant. So we've still got one race to go, don't forget.
There's still one race to go, and we will be back for that very, very shortly. So thanks for joining us for race 2, and we'll see you again for race 3 right here on Apex Racing TV.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Hello again, everyone. It's the final race of the evening here from Silverstone Circuit, here for the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship, presented by Engine Oil Direct. Andrew Woodhouse, Adam Bath and Alex Simpson here at the historic track, the old classic layout. And Alex, we've seen some classic racing tonight as well.
Yeah, been some fantastic touring car, pure-on battles out there, full-on battles even. Just banging and bumping here and there, and some guys going off, and some epic saves, and some awesome four-wide action. We've had everything.
Adam, Dave Baker's managed to be reversed onto pole position. He's a lucky devil, isn't he?
Indeed, and he doesn't have to do what Savidovic and Katz will have to do in the third and final race, which is once again work their way through from the middle of the pack. He'll be on pole position for the final race of the evening. Alongside him on the front row of the grid, Jamie Rushworth. So the Season 4 champion has a good shot at taking another race victory to add to his few other things he's got this season. Then third on the grid, it is Dan Blake with Ellis Stevens in fourth. So two Powermax cars on the front two rows of the grid. Fifth, Andrew Whitehead with Paul Smith in sixth. Jay Wright seventh. Eighth, it is Scott Malcolm with Stefan Hoog from 45 on the grid in 45th on the grid in race 2 to get to 11th. He will start for 9th position. 10th, it is Alex Smolensky with Pete Newman 11th. Linus Bostrom 12th with Steve Walker 13th. Sebastian Jobe is in 14th after saving his car for the final 3 laps of the race after being in danger of getting disqualified. 15th, Andreas Katz. 16th, Wojciech Savidovic. 17th, Russell Laidler. 18th, Lee Thompson. And then 19th is our race 2 winner, Simon Field. 20th, Stanimir Zuzov. 21st, it is Jerome Kaiser with Steve Richardson 22nd. 23rd, it is Hyo Chan Lee with James Eggert 24th. 25th, it is John Roberts. 26th, Colin Cunniff. 27th, Richard Gore. 28th, Laura Bond. 29th, James Nash. 30th, Eckhart von Glan. And then 31st, Stelian Chepelevsky. He didn't have the best of race 2s after starting 22nd. He sadly couldn't work his way through the pack like Savidovic and Katz could do. Then we get into the list of disqualified people, and haven't actually seen this since we finished last, but these are all the cars that got disqualified. Kevin Noon, Robert Plumley, Daniel Kraft, Daniel Hunt, Lee Berridge, Ashley Blake Hood, Mark Johnston, Steve Hefford, Julian Janowski, Robert Graham, Stephen Burke, Robert Flagg. So all of those cars getting disqualified. I wasn't counting them, unfortunately, on my hand, but
that's the biggest list of. You'd have needed more than one hand.
Yeah, I think we need to retract
feet.
our statements from the previous race. Some of the best racing. Wow,
12.
That is serious. 12. Whoa.
Yeah, that's a lot of.
That's a bit extreme. Yes, bump and rub, but keep in mind your instant count, guys.
The incident
That's
count,
just
of course, is 13, I believe, isn't it, still for this season? The man with
11.
the black flag will have got tired,
11.
won't he?
Yeah.
Oh, 11 incidents, right? Yeah, he either got tired from waving that black flag so many times.
Worth pointing out, actually, something that we haven't touched on as well is now that there's been some official points for podiums positions for the teams rewarded for the showdown with what they carry over as well. So the top 3 of the point scoring teams, so that's the whole race meeting, not just per race. They'll get some bonus points, much like they do with with the drivers as well. So they carry on into the showdown. So teams will get an advantage that have been doing well week in, week out, and getting onto the podium. So
as well, it does mean that it's an incentive for drivers who maybe had a poor first couple of races to keep going, because of course it's the team's prize, Alex, that would provide the $4,000 prize money for the first place.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure who are we watching here. This is Linus Bostrom. Yeah, just having. Oh, I don't know what he's doing.
Well, he's having a moment with the wall, isn't he? He's trying to grind that across the wall like a skateboarder. I think he's failed miserably, Adam, in your words.
Yeah. Well, where is he starting on the grid? He's starting pretty far back, I do believe, so he hasn't got really much to lose. David Baker, of course, starting on pole position.
Oh, dear.
He's only took one race victory this season, and that was back at Twin Rim Motegi just 2 weeks ago.
And that was on an oval course, of course.
Yeah, and this is just as quick, but got a few right-hand turns in as well. Jamie Rushworth, 4 wins to his name so far this season. He'll be hoping to go for the big 5, maybe red 5 on Nigel Mansell here in the final race of the evening, as we're now down on the grid. What can Dan Blake do? I was just wondering. He's in third place. He knows his bit about touring cars. We often see him sometimes commentating on the odd touring car race, and often races high and dies as well on the weekends as well. So interesting to see what he can do in this third race.
It does. I saw him do a stunning lap of Thruxton the other day on Facebook. Definitely impressive there in real life and on the sim. Now, Blake, I think he's going to struggle to keep with Baker and Rushworth, but we'll see as the red lights are on.
Green, green, green.
The green light is on for the final time. It's a poor start from Baker. It's a great start from Rushworth. Both of these guys flying away at the front of the grid in towards Copse Corner for the first time, and Rushworth's into the lead already. Oh, there's a massive smash at the back. Big crash.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll have to deploy the caution
Safety
flag.
car, surely, I would have thought for that. There's a lot of cars
No,
involved.
hasn't been
in
called
cars,
yet.
and
The
still
cars have
going.
been cleared.
The yellow
Safety
flag
car.
is
Oh, most of the cars have been cleared.
Oh, quite a
From
few
the
cars
very-
off in Beckett's. Sorry, just who's out around? That's Paul Smith in the purple car, but I think everyone else has been able to slow the cars down just in time to respond
Now,
to the
is
yellow
that
flag.
the mostly cloudy track conditions out there? Let's just bring up what the track temperature is. 22 degrees. That is
Chilly.
a lot cooler than what we had in the previous race. And I think that's just caught a few people out. A lot of cars there just losing it big time.
Let's have a look and see what caused that. Oh yeah, it was. It looks like it was. Now bear with me. It was the 56 car of Mark Johnston
Oh, he's had a bit
trying
of
to
a fall,
go
mate.
through the middle of two cars and losing it slightly, and then he took out. Oh goodness me! Properly wiped out the 34 car of Adekoba Lopez and the Carnage car of Berridge, I believe.
Oh,
so
yeah, he lost it on his own there, didn't he, as well?
that was
And
coming through.
somebody
That was
else-
coming through Woodcote, and that's the problem
Yeah.
when you've got, Woodcote just after the start. The tyres have literally got no time to warm up. Then a few people lost it coming out of Copse Corner and into Beckett. Somebody's on its side. That's because as well a lot of them were slowing down for the safety car.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at Mark Johnston now. It's a good run away. We're already one of the GT Mega cars. I think that was Dan Hunt was already in the pit lane, so I don't know what happened to him. Oh,
yeah,
he
I was
just
just looking at Steve Burke as well. Did he get caught up in something as well? He was limping at the end. He went past one of them. He was just behind all of that. They spit off to the left, and then this actually probably not the best camera angle. There's somebody just ahead of Burke who loses it. I don't know if it was Dan Hunt. It might be Dan Hunt actually. Let's just see if we can find a better angle to see who else was involved in that, because there's lots of incidents. There's more stuff going off in the first corner as well. So,
And then Jay Wright came back on the course.
I tell you,
And
Dan Hunt
knocked-
actually just goes off to the left, isn't it? He knows. I tell you.
Then Jay Wright came back on the track after an excursion and hit Robert Fagg. Fagg went around as well. That was under yellow.
Yeah. So who was the engine? Not the engine oils. There's some post-race, some turn one as well with Linus. Let's have a look what that is. It's one of the laser tool cars that I was trying to find, but I can't quite work out who it was. But yeah, so Brostrom also caught up in something, as we can just see the carnage unfolding behind.
I find
Still
that
haven't
amazing.
caught the safety car yet.
Yeah, the safety cars been out for quite a
Oh,
while.
the
I think.
laser tool cars just go both collect each other to the right. Linus loses it and goes flying across to the right as well. The Apex cars managed to get their way through that, but
I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
there's just not enough. There's just not enough pressure up on the cars.
Yeah, I don't know what's
yeah.
going on with the safety car, Andrew. Is it?
It's on Woodcut now.
Yeah, we're just catching up to it now. Daniel Hunt, I find that quite amazing, and what he did. The lights just went green, and he went into the
He
pit
knew.
lane as almost he knew that this was going to happen.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
we got-
That was a premonition from Dan Hunt then.
Worth pointing out that Svidovic and Lopez have been caught up in that as well. So two big names fallen victim of that.
yeah, but Katz
Build
didn't.
as well, really. But
Katz
yeah.
up to 9th from
I'm
15th.
just going to
on the
see
grid.
what happened with Wojciech.
Yeah, let's have a look. He had to make a pit stop.
Yeah, he tries.
See if we can jump it back quickly.
Yeah,
he,
just having a
goes into Copse Corner,
Yeah, he's side by
turns
side
it
with.
in, loses it a little. Oh, he just got funneled into that mess, didn't he?
Through turn 1. Yeah,
He just
we
got
got
funneled
yeah,
into the
that's
mess
what
with
Bostrom, is that?
Well, brushed him, was it? Yeah.
Oh, he was in the middle, wasn't he? He got a little tap from behind, yeah, and like I say, he just.
But he couldn't go anywhere.
No, nothing.
If you look in his, if you actually look in his cockpit view,
I have to say,
you can just see it all closing up in front of him.
This race needed a rolling start as well. The track temperature's actually lower, I think, than the first race.
I think, Alex, any other circuit, and I think you'd be right. Any other circuit, and I think standing start would have been fine. But with that corner, with starting on Woodcut, that doesn't help anyway. And then for it to then go into Copse straight away is just an accident waiting to happen, and an accident did happen on that occasion. Well, the drivers do have a fast repair, Adam, so they will have a chance to. And
I think that's what Savinovic did.
Get their large hammer and bash away at some panels.
Yeah, and that's a godsend for Savinovic. He will be resuming this race down in 41st. Let's have a look at the revised order then. After that first lap shenanigans, Jamie Rushworth leads the race, so he managed to get the jump on David Baker. Baker in second, Ellis Stevens in third, Dan Blake in fourth, Stefan Hug, one of the big movers, from 9th to 5th, Andrew Whitehead in 6th, Pete Newman 7th, Steve Walker in 8th, Andreas Katz in 9th, Russell Laidler rounds out the top 10, Smolensky is in 11th, Lee Thompson 12th, Stanimir Zuzov 13th, Sebastian Jobe voicing his annoyance over the standing start on the chats is in 14th, James Leggett 15th, Richard Gore 16th, Steve Richardson 17th, Daniel Kraft 18th, Kevin New 19th, and Colin Cunniff rounds out the top 20.
The track is so cold. I was just watching Cunniff there and warming up his tyres, and he nearly lost it just warming up his tyres. That's how little temperature there is in these Kias, and they're a handful enough, Alex, when they get on the brakes in regular conditions.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, he was under acceleration there as well. That just shows to show how little grip they have. I mean, you've got to ask the question, is that not just a little bit crazy over the tops with physics there? Surely they are not that loose when the tyres are a little bit uninflated with the pressure, or a little bit cold. That can't be right. That's got to be over the top.
Yeah.
But here we go.
Something for iRacing to look at, I think, in the next build. Oh, but someone who's taking advantage of a situation there. Jamie Rushworth got a fantastic restart. We're racing again here at Silverstone in the BSRTC. Into turn 1 goes Rushworth. Baker cuts across in front of Stevens.
Yeah, David Baker already on the defensive straight away, and that's allowing Jamie Rushworth to already pull a few car lengths on these as they head into Maggots and Beckett's for the first time. Side by side in the background, that's Pete Newman and Andrew Whitehead, I do believe, and everyone just trying to keep it clean, and Andreas Katz just keeping a watchful eye. He's in 9th place as well, with Russell Laidler right behind him as they head out onto the Hangar Straight.
You've got to think already, Alex, that this is Jamie's race to lose, but Baker's not going to be shaken off easily.
No, exactly. It's going to be close between them.
Very slow apex car.
Sebastian Jobe. Yeah, he's down.
I think he's had a slowdown coming through the complex. Oh, we might go 4 wide here. Oh, and there's a contact with Zuzov. Oh, Zuzov and Job's off into the gravel and off into the wall, and Von Glan is out as well.
Well, that's just to add insult to injury, because Jobe got hit out of Chapel, and that's why he was slowed down the Hangar Straight.
And I think he's either towed off the track or he's been disqualified, one or the other already. So that is a nightmare for Job, especially Alex when he's trying to get into that showdown.
Yeah, exactly. He got knocked off and he got a slowdown there, and then they decided to go 4 wide.
I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's where the crazy comes in. I think on the first lap.
That's silly driving at the start of a race, when you've got time. You still have 7 laps, and I'm sure backing out for 1 corner isn't going to cost you that much. But there you go, Rushworth leading by half a second from Baker.
Lee Thompson is a man on the move. He's just been able to get past Andreas Katz, and now he's going to try and get past Russell Laidler. These two are side by side. Apex Racing TV versus GT Omega. Russell Laidler will have the inside line, but I wonder if Thompson will try and get the cutback, which is what he's going to do superbly, I do believe. And Katz could try and get all 3 of them here into Maggots and Beckett's.
Thompson looking for the opportunity. Is he going to take it? Into Beckett's he goes. Laidler's got good commitment pretty much every time. And look at Andreas Katz trying around the outside.
Laidler all over the place, a bit sideways there as well.
Something going off in turn 1 as well. I can just see it in the distance. I don't think anybody else has been caught up in with it. Is it Eckhart von Glan? No, it's not. He's in the pits. I'm not sure who it was, but
yeah.
they've recovered whoever it was. But they were off. We've got a couple of cars side by side. Smolensky, Zuzov, Leggett, Gore, all in and around that area. It's tight, very tight.
James Leggett in that Royal Mail car, I do believe, as they head through Stowe Corner and down towards Vale. Smolensk in 13th and 14th. Richard Gore. Contacts. Smolenski off.
Smolenski misjudged that one.
Yeah, and who was that? Richard Good. Luckily, doesn't sustain too much damage. He's now going to be under pressure from Kraft.
I think it was Zuzov actually who he made contact with, Adam, and Daniel Kraft trying to get past Gore now into bridge. Big commitment needed, and big commitment is delivered by Daniel Kraft.
Oh, I can hear someone in the gravel. Who's that? That's Lee Thompson.
Thompson from P10, he's all the way off there.
Well, he's almost on national circuit.
What happened there? Let's see. He got a helping hand from Andreas Katz, and he only spun. He didn't hit anything, Thompson. But yeah, he's not going to be happy with that. That's a bit unfortunate. He almost on the Wellington straight there.
Yeah, he just got nerfed, didn't he? There, so. That's not quite a bump and run, is it? So.
And then he came back on to find a pack of 5 cars in his way, down to 31st place.
Battle for the lead between David Baker and Jamie Rushworth. Baker's been slowly closing in on the Power Max car, and now the Volatile Element driver, the Season 7 champion, has got the Season 4 champion right where he wants him as they head down the Hangar Straight. Rushworth defending the inside.
Look how
surely
far.
He's going to try and... It's almost on the white line, and he's going to surely have to move back onto some form of racing line as we head into Stowe, which he does, but he's going to have a bit of a slow exit, but I don't see David Baker trying to lunge it going into Vale.
Of course, it's slow, ending in an E, going around that corner. And through the chicane into Club.
Oh, there's contact between, who is
Whitehead.
this? Yeah, Whitehead and Zuzov, I want to say it was. I don't think, no, somebody else.
Might have been Zuzov.
Oh, is that damage for Whitehead as well? Yeah, it looks like damage for Whitehead too.
Yeah, car crash.
Whitehead's in serious trouble, and Zuzov actually going around the outside of... In fact, that's Gore attacking Zuzov, isn't it? Richard Gore for Apex Racing TV through Abbey and into Bridge Corner. Gore's got a nice run, but he's got nowhere to go. Zuzov puts his car precisely where he needs to.
And Laura Bond trying to get in the mix as well,
Bond
and she goes sideways.
Smolensky and Laura shoves
sticks that to her former teammate.
Yes, but she then loses a position to Kevin Noon, and Colin Cunniff's trying to go around the outside of the Power Max car. Doesn't make it though, Noon. Cunniff, sorry. So Laura Bond, she a couple of times, Alex, has had a podium finish taken away from her in this track. She's on a mission here.
Yeah. She's got a long way to get up to a podium, but the cars are...
big contact in Cops. And that's Hefford. And was it Nash?
Yeah, it might have been James Nash.
James Nash there. And
just
Nash
across
slams the door on Hefford that time. I think we know what he thought of that. And Steve Richardson's managed to get through into 19th place ahead of this lot. And Steve Hefford, incidentally, started 39th, Alex. He's making good progress.
Yeah, you could say. So, up 19 places from the start.
Half of that was on the first lap, I assume.
Yeah.
Steve Walker gaining positions as well. He's going down the inside of Dan Blake into Vale, but Blake will lunge it back up the inside. Fantastic job, but he's going to wash out wide, and Steve Walker will get that 6th place, and this is going to allow Andreas Katz to close in as well, with Russell Laidler in the GT Omega car keeping a watchful eye in 9th position, side by side through Abbey. Katz will have the inside line for Bridge. Will Blake try and hang it out around the outside like we've seen it work so many times tonight? No, he won't, and now he's going to be under pressure from Russell Laidler as we head into Brooklands.
Laidler's going to try and go around the outside into Priory. That does not going to work. Not enough track there for Laidler for GT Omega Racing. Engine all direct with Dan Blake. Blake's hung on well in the top 10 in this race, where he started in 3rd position on the grid. Meanwhile, at the front, Jamie Rushworth has had a much better lap than David Baker. He's managed to pull it out to 7/10 of a second. Stefan Hug, incidentally, closing in on the pair, Alex. It's the Swiss driver's on. He's really flying.
He was quick in the last race as well. He worked his way up very, very quickly through that pack, and like you say, lap time 1:44.9, so almost a second quicker than Baker that last lap. So he is coming very, very quickly, 4 tenths faster than our leader as well. So this is definitely going to be a 3-car battle for the last 3 or 4 laps there.
And Adam, as you mentioned in the first broadcast, mate, Stefan Hughes won here at Silverstone before, and he's looking to put another notch on that.
Yeah, I think he won here 2 times back in Season 5 and Season 6, so knows how to get it done around here. And here comes Andreas Katz as well to get 6th place away from Steve Walker. Down into Stowe at the end of the Hangar Straight. The Oculus car gets that done pretty easily. He's now through into 6th, and in the background, Dan Blake has now just lost another place to Russell Laidler. So Laidler through into 8th, Dan Blake down into 9th position. And if anything, at the front, Andrew, David Baker's now falling away from Jamie Rushworth and coming under the pressure of Stefan Hug.
Yeah, Hug closing in rapidly now on the season 7 champion David Baker.
Yep.
And also incidentally, it was a good manoeuvre by Katz into Stowe. That's the typical passing place. It's a classic. Mansell's passed people there, Hamilton famously, of course, and it's not easy to do, and he made that stick there. Stefan Hug now only a few tenths of a second behind Baker, and he's now in the point, Alex, where Hug will start to get some substantial slipstream down the Hangar Straight.
Yeah, definitely. I think needs to nail these next couple of corners. He's definitely a lot closer to Baker than Baker is to Rushworth, so could well get enough of a run perhaps into Stowe.
This is the tricky part of the lap then at the beginning. Flat out into Magnussen, hard on the brakes just a little bit, going through Beckett's and then into Chapel. This is where the handling of the car matters so much. Baker, if anything, closed down on Rushworth. Hug was all over the place there, going through Beckett's onto the Hangar Straight. That's going to compromise his run out, I think. So he's not going to be as close to Baker as he really wanted to be.
It looked like that Rushworth didn't get the best run out of Chapel either. So they're actually closing up together, a little concertina effect.
Into Stowe?
Yeah, into Stowe corner, and Hug looks very smooth, Alex. I know he was a bit all over the place there, but the last couple of laps I've been watching him, he looks like he's very controlled out there. He's probably saving his tyres, and 3 laps to go, this is when he needs to go.
Well, actually, having a big slide like that might actually get him into the right temperature. The tyres have been so cold this time, so they might be in that optimal zone right now. He's having a little look, he's weaving, he wants Baker to know he's there.
Top 10, Rushworth, Baker, then Hug, Stevens in 4th, then Newman, then Katz, Walker in 7th, then Laidler, then Blake, and then Daniel Craft in 10th. Just behind them, incidentally, James Leggett doing a very good job, 24th to 11th place.
There's a good battle going on here as well between Linus Brostrom and Ashley Blake Hurd. They are side by side, 25th and 26th. It's way back. They've got Lee Thompson just behind them, Daniel Hunt as well. So some big names kicking around there right now.
Yeah,
James Nash and Steve Hefford having a battle as well over 19th and 18th.
Thompson and Hunt are in there, Alex, as well. That's 2 big names there.
And
Hunt's actually clipped Blake Hood.
Thompson's going to smoke everywhere right
Thompson's going to go through, I think. Well, he's going to try around the outside of Luffield. He's going to get a great run down the straight. Lee Thompson on Daniel Hunt. And it shows, Adam, just how great this series is. Most of these guys hanging around the 20th to 25th places are race winners.
They just can't get away from them, can they? And that shows you how the characteristics of the circuit are still playing into the event as well, and possibly tyre wear, even though the track temperature's cool. Look at this though, at the front of the pack, 1.5 laps to go. Here comes David Baker,
Baker's
going for a lunge, but way out, they both
and he
go
hits
off.
Rushworth, and through goes Stefan Hug into the lead.
Well, I'm speechless. David Baker, the consistent man, lunges it down the inside of Rushworth and compromises their race, but they're still in 2nd and 3rd. But that was that's a race-winning opportunity gone for both of them.
One can only assume, Alex, that Baker missed his braking point, because that was never on.
Yeah, I think so there. What I will point out though, Baker made the contact, but unlike so many, he checked up and let Jamie go back through. Gentleman driver. So not enough of that goes on in the series. We want more. And Baker, true racer, he'll be disappointed with himself for that move, I think. But
and you could tell,
give that place back.
You could tell that he was, because he was, like you said, he was the one who initiated the contact. They're far enough through as well in that Baker wouldn't lose any more positions than he needed to as well. So, yeah, great example of sportsmanlike driving there. That's what we want to see. Meanwhile, speaking of sportsmanlike driving, Ellis Stevens, the man who, somewhat surprisingly, we have to say, we do wind him up about this, Alex, but he's actually the safest driver of the season so far.
Yeah. What can you say? Sorry, while I'm looking at a 4-car battle a bit further back, but yeah, Ellis just kept himself out of trouble this season. Normally been bumping and banging. I remember this race, I don't know if it was last season or the season before, he had so many people off, it was crazy, but yeah, what can I say?
You just didn't want to go near him, did you?
And I think it's probably because of him we introduced the 11 incident limit.
I think it was. I think it actually was. But, you know, he's been the master of staying within that limit, as Colin Cunniff went a bit wide there through Copse Corner. He hasn't lost any places. Good scrap here, Alex, between... in fact, it's the last lap, isn't it? So we need to see if Rushworth can catch Stefan Hoog.
At the same time, Pete Newman
he is catching him too, Adam.
Ellis Stevens and Pete Newman having a great battle over 4th place as well, best of the rest. And you're right about Rushworth. He's
closed in massively.
Hugely. And if he's good through here, he could have an overtaking opportunity, possibly into Brooklands, Priory or Luffield at the end of the lap. He's within half a second, I'd say, of the Oculus 360 cars they head through Abbey. Hoog, yeah, the race could be on here.
I wonder if Hoog might be running out of fuel, Alex. Has he got enough left? Is that why he's slowing down?
I think it's just last lap pressure. There is nothing worse.
Oh,
here he comes!
Oh, Rushworth's going for it!
He's got him!
And he's hit Stefan Hoog. Hoog's wide. He's off into the gravel. And Rushworth.
There you go. It's as you were from 2 laps ago. Jamie Rushworth at the front, David Baker second, and Stefan Hoog in third. And that's the positions they'll get as they come to the line, Andrew.
Jamie Rushworth is going to take an eventful race 3 win. Rushworth takes the win. Hoog in second, then it's Baker in second, then it's Stefan Hoog. Ellis Stevens is going to come home for 4th. It was very close between Newman and Katz. I believe Newman just nicked it on the line for 5th. Walker and Laidler were separated by 6/100ths of a second. Then Daniel Kraft, then Dan Blake, and Alex Simpson. That was hectic to say the least.
Yeah, that's very. I mean, I want to watch that back just to see that again, because you're right. Was Hoog suffering a little bit there? Something he didn't cover the line off very quickly, did he? Let Jamie get in there, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that reminds me of the John Cleland Steve Soper clash that took place at this very track. So,
well, because of the commentator, really, I said that the race for the lead was over after Stefan Hoog took the lead, and then 2 laps later, that all happened. So
Hoog must have had a scruffy lap on. Well, no, he did his last lap.
He didn't. The lap before was absolutely fine. It's just this last lap. You do. I mean, the
Unless
pressure.
Rushworth
You know
just
what the
did a
pressure's
great
like
lap.
when you're in the last lap. He's gone defensive in Priory, so that's give Jamie definitely the run. He's just slow to cut on the inside there. Actually, I mean,
I would have defended that inside line for my life, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you can really say that's Jamie's fault. You have to put that down to a racing incident, I'm afraid. There's, I might get heckled for that, but
I mean, you've got to go for the win.
You've got to go for the inside there, especially when Hoog doesn't cover it off that quickly. You know, you've got an opportunity. That's the last lap. You get it up the inside there, and I felt like Hoog could have covered that a lot earlier. He left the door open and then tried to close it too late.
There was
Rushworth's already alongside.
There was a good sort of 30 metres, Alex, at the line between Rushworth and Hoog, and he managed to make that up massively. And it must have just been, like you said, Hoog may have felt the pressure of that last lap.
Yeah, I think he just did there. You know, the draft does help quite dramatically to close in, but yeah, just that. There's nothing worse than when you've got 0.7 of a second lead on the last lap, and you've had a good race to get there, and you put yourself under a bit of pressure as well, just trying to hold on to it. So I think that's what pushed him back there. But yeah,
well,
bit of a tough race, I have to say, that one.
I was going to say that race 3 has been a pretty clean one, and then in the final 2 laps at the front, we've had 3 epic battles for the lead tonight here at Silverstone, and here are the finishing results then from race 3. Jamie Rushworth took the race victory in the end, with David Baker in second, Stefan Hoog in third, with Ella Stevens in fourth. Fifth was Pete Newman, Andreas Katz in sixth, Steve Walker seventh, eighth Russell Laidler, ninth Daniel Kraft, and then Dan Blake rounds out the top 10. 11th James Leggett, 12th Alex Malensky, 13th Kevin Noon, 14th Richard Gore, 15th Stanimir Zuzov, 16th Laura Bond, 17th Colin Cunniff, 18th Robert Plumley, Steve Richardson 19th, 20th Lee Thompson, 21st Daniel Hunt, 22nd Stephen Burke, 23rd Linus Bostrom, 24th Ashley Baker, John Roberts 25th, 26th Luis Silveira, 27th Jay Wright, 28th Julian Janowski, and then Wojciech Savidovic down in 29th. So his 400 point gap might just have gone down a bit after that race. 30th Jerome Kaiser, 31st Robert Graham, 32nd Eckhart von Glenn, and the cars one lap down or more. 33rd Haichen Lee, 34th Steve Hefford, 35th Simon Field after taking that race 2 victory, 16th Andrew Whitehead, 37th for Scott Malcolm, 38th for Day Copa Lopez, the winner of the first race, 39th James Nash, 40th Rob Fagg, 41st Paul Smith, 42nd Sebastian Jobe, who was out early after a double dosage of contacts through Chapel and then into Stowe, 43rd Stelian Chepelevsky, 44th Lee Berridge, and then the last car running after the contacts at the start was Mark Johnston.
Well, there was a lot of carnage there. Alex, I wonder if any of the Apex drivers want to speak to us.
Well, if any of them care to jump up, then they're more than welcome to.
I wasn't. I went in the channel and I couldn't hear myself, so I don't know what happened there. But if you want to have a little.
I think just seeing some of the comments on YouTube and stuff like that, we'll leave them be. I think they're licking their wounds.
Oh, are they not happy?
They're licking their wounds at the moment.
Is this over the standing start?
Well, I just
it's over everything.
I think in general this week they've had a bit of a rough time, so we'll leave them to it. We'll head on over to Mumble, as you see my Mumble screen pop up there. Whoops. Because I'm trying to get it out of the way. There we go. Yeah, we'll head on over to Mumble and we'll have some interviews and whatnot in a short moment. We'll just go for a quick advert break, but we'll be back for post race show.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV, and for the Silverstone post-race show, Andrew Woodhouse, Alex Simpson and Adam Bath with you. And Adam, it was a hell of a race meeting. We had some good driving, we had some bad driving, but we had some great race.
Yeah, 3 fantastic races. And on the Silverstone Historic Circuit, we were talking before we went on air, Andrew, about whether there's going to be some overtaking spots. However, how wrong could we be? We saw 3 fantastic races with loads of overtaking, and in all 3 of them, battles for the race lead as well. So
it seemed
plenty
like
of
no
action
corner,
to go around.
It seemed like no corner was off limits for overtaking Alex, and we were wondering whether we were going to get any.
Yeah, exactly that final race. Everyone was a lot of grip out there. That's the thing, isn't there? So everyone really wanted to chuck it in, and I think we saw some dubious moves in places.
Yes.
And we'll leave it at that. I think. Anyway, who we got for an interview? Have we got Elliot?
But the justice.
Can we speak with Jamie Rushworth?
That's what
please?
I want, Jamie. Yeah.
But the
Jamie.
justice was all dished out at the end, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Really, all ended up the right way around almost.
Yeah.
From who was wronged or not, but.
Well, Jamie Rushworth now joins us in the commentary box. Well, Jamie, it looked like your chance of race victory had gone after that contact with David Baker, but you just managed to get past Stefan Hoog 2 corners from the end.
Yeah, and admittedly not in the best of ways. I was seeing red a little bit and sort of did launch it a bit too far back. But...
Well, I have to say, we looked at it back and thought that who could have perhaps covered the corner off a little bit. His tight line made him vulnerable for that sort of cutback move. So I didn't actually think you were to blame, and thought perhaps it was just a bit of a racing incident there. And fair play to you for standing up and thinking it was you.
Either way, it's been good fun today. I'm glad that it ended the way it did.
Yeah,
Jamie,
it was sorry, Adam, go on.
No, I was just going to say this helps your championship. That's your 5th win of the season, I do believe, and it helps you, of course, with those podium credits.
Yeah, and for Powermax as well, I think we had a pretty good week, barring race 2. Ellis came 4th in this race, and Koba won the first one, so hopefully we'll be a bit closer to that 3rd spot, the last one for the team showdown.
Yeah, how did you... You must have been really pleased when you got reversed onto the front row. I mean, it's not often that happens to you, but I guess you were not so pleased by the safety car that came out.
No, it already started to pull out quite a lengthy lead when it came out, but I did look in my mirrors and saw a bunch of smoke and at least 3 cars flying up towards orbit, so it's understandable.
How do you see the rest of the season going for your team? I mean, you said that, it's a good... you've got some good momentum now, and are you looking forward to the other races with sort of trepidation or with sort of optimism?
I don't know. It's going to be really tough, because we seem to find ourselves in accidents quite often, which is the key to stay consistent, and the 3 teams that are currently on top are the ones doing that. But we're obviously going to push as hard as we can to try and get there.
Well, of course, next week we head to Summit Point Raceway in America. Pretty different to Silverstone, have a pretty tricky racetrack with some long straights as well. Do you think you'd be able to get a race victory there to help Powermax even more?
Yeah, I hope so. It's a fun little track. It's quite narrow, and there's not that many overtaking spots. I think turn 1 is the only really good one. So I'm expecting to try and survive more than anything there.
Alright, well, great. Thanks for talking to us, Jamie, and congratulations on taking your 5th race victory of the season in race 3, and we will see you and the rest of the Powermax team at Summit Point Raceway next week.
Cheers, guys.
Well, nice of Jamie Rushworth to own up to going down the inside.
I wonder if you guys want to have a quick word with Svidovic, because he's had a bit of a shocker, really, this race meeting. Didn't win any, and the 2nd and 3rd race, almost written off for him.
Yeah, I mean, the last race was...
See what he thinks of everything.
Appalling luck more than anything. Yeah, I think interesting to get his point of view. So, we're joined by Wojciech Svidovic now. Wojciech, It was a decent first race for you, but after that, it didn't really go to plan, did it?
Yeah, I was pretty desperate in the race one. Then I thought I will be able to defend it, but yeah, Kaba was very, very good. Then a little tap from Andreas was enough to just, put me out of contention even for second place.
Well, this is the first time since Virginia, all the way back in April or May, I do believe, since you last took a race, since you last didn't take a race victory in a race meeting. Next week we head to.
Good start, Adam.
Yeah, I've just opened the driver stats just for that occasion. Next week we head to Summit Point. We were talking to Jamie Bushworth. Not too many places to overtake on that racetrack. Can we expect you to get back on form and get those race victories?
Hopefully. It's really hard to say. Every track is a little bit different, especially if, a very quick reserve showing up. That's pretty much changes the whole perspective, whole way we're racing up the front. Like Kaba definitely is changing the way it looks, and it all depends what drivers show up, who's going to be quick in the qualification session, etc.
Tell us about.
Sorry, I was going to go on about the last race start. Were you going to do the same? Yeah. Basically, we were questioning the decision to do a standing start, especially considering that half the grid is curved here. That was directly the result of your collision on the first lap, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I tried to avoid it, but yeah, I was pretty much in the sandwich. I couldn't do anything. And then again, I just got a weird black flag when I entered the pits. We had to clear the black flags after the race started, so yeah, I couldn't do anything.
In race 2, it looked like you had a pretty exciting moment going down the hanger straight, going from left to right. How did you avoid the barriers there?
I don't know myself. It was really... I was 100% sure I lost it because I was 90 degrees across the track, and somehow I managed just to, try to put the throttle 100% and try to do something with the wheel to make it go back straight, but very, very lucky.
What's the mindset for the rest of the season then? You have a large championship lead. Is it just to you're going to keep collecting those podiums, trying to get those chase points? Or are you looking for race victories? What's the plan, or the team championship even?
Yeah, that's the thing. Basically, try to get podiums whenever you can, but at the same time, you cannot really, sandbag too much. You could eventually do it, to get a better position for the reverse grid, but at the same time, you have to remember we need to collect points for the team championship. Because few weaker races we could fall down. We don't want to do that. We want to stay on the top to the last 5 races.
Because that's where the money is, isn't it? At the end of the day, that is that's the big one.
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely like the last 5 races. It's only 5 weeks, so it's really gonna be down to the skill, but also you're gonna need the luck, quite a lot, be a bit lucky to win the whole championship, both team or individual.
Alex, have you got anything for Wojciech?
No, not really. I think you boys have covered everything. Just just unlucky really for today, and just let's hope you bounce back for the next one, buddy.
Cheers, thanks very much.
Thanks to former champion for joining us here this evening. Alex, he's been so good the last few race meetings that it was inevitable that he was going to have a slightly dodgy one at some point.
He's had a lot of luck through this season, actually, it's fair to say. I think a few drivers were commenting about that in the previous couple of broadcasts that we've done on YouTube, and at some point your luck runs out, doesn't it? And
your luck does indeed run out.
Yeah, your luck runs out. I'll get my teeth back in. So, old man here,
That's for the outtakes, Adam, is that?
Yeah,
just back to the good old days.
Yeah. Just had nowhere to go. There was nothing he could do there. That was just, it's just one of those things. It didn't matter how good a driver you were there. Well, no, I take that back. It does matter how good a driver you are. There was one driver who missed it all in that race, and that was Daniel Hunt. He knew. It was like, sod going around Woodcote or into Cops. Yeah. I'll just go through the pits. Much easier.
Well, where did he actually... 21st in the end?
Yeah. Okay.
Considering he was at the back because of his penalty, not the penalty, sorry, because he did the drive-through, intentional drive-through. It was a pretty good decision to make. But again, he's got to the end, Adam. He's got points, and he may not have done if he didn't think quickly like that.
Yeah, and I think he might have been in and around the positions where there was contact at the beginning of race 3. So yeah, Daniel Hunt, it wasn't the most conventional route, but yeah, he went through the pits and he ended up to get 21st. I was expecting him possibly to get higher after that. His trip through the pits, I think, should have been rewarded, but yeah,
looked like he had a big
see
old.
Where he went, though? He just went straight in,
yeah,
didn't he?
Turned sharp right as soon as the light went green.
Screw this, I'm off.
And yeah, in the end, I think he was.
He didn't actually go through the pit lane.
No, he
did
just turned to the
just
right and
ducked
stopped.
back in, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he was good to do that because
That
Johnston
was
and
very smart, really.
Johnston and the lights
If
were
he'd
on.
gone through the pits, it'd have been easier to go through the pits. He'd have
And
missed
he
all
would
that
have
carnage.
missed. He would have missed the crap on the exit of.
Yeah.
Well, no, he probably would. They would have probably blocked the pit exit. To be fair, by the time he got there, but yeah, it was very, very smart thinking. It's not something I can honestly say I've ever seen before.
Well, next week we head to Summit Point, and in fact we go on a bit of a streak in America. Quite a few American races coming up on the schedule. We head to Summit Point next week. Then we head to Lime Rock Park on the 16th of July. Then, yeah, last time we were there, weren't the Elite Martini cars in trouble? I think, yeah, Ella Stevens.
They hit each other at the
then,
when leading, I think, as well.
And then 23rd of July, Laguna Seca. Then we head to the first time.
Who was that? Sorry, I'm just watching the replay. Sorry, you carry on. I'm just going to find out who that was.
Then on the 30th of July, we head to Mid-Ohio for the first time. And then we head to Watkins Glen, where back in season 7, I do believe there was some fantastic racing there. And then we end August on the 13th of August in Montreal. So a whole lot of North American circuits coming up for the BSRTC. Summit Point Raceway, though Jamie Bushworth said there's not too many to overtaking spots there.
Alex, was that an Oculus car tippling over and all the way over? I've just looked at the replay.
Steve Herford, we missed that in the race, but he got hammered.
That's 10 out of 10 for artistic impression there, wasn't it?
If we're gonna have a race be like this, let's find them all.
That was a 10. That was a 10 from the German judge.
Who had him? Someone's got to have had him.
So, it was. I've just seen it and I can't remember.
Oh, okay. So yeah, someone got into his side. I'm not sure quite who that was, but yeah, they got him good.
They got him good. He finished one lap down in the end, Hefford. Because of that, I think he was quite lucky. Wasn't that just before the safety car came out?
No, that was after. Way
Just
after.
Yeah, somebody mutilated him, for lack of a better word. that was bad. Where was it? Lap 10. Oh, it was on the penultimate lap as well. On the way into.
There was a Powermax car involved in that, and one of the privateers as well.
Oh man, it was Lopez and Cunniff. Basically did a little scissor movement. Cunniff lost it under braking. That was what it was. Cunniff lost it into Lopez and into Hefford, and poor Hefford's over and over and over and over and over. And and over the fence as well.
There's 2 cars over the fence tonight.
Yeah. 2 cars over the fence. There you go. It's like Charlotte Road again. And Hefford tried to find his way out of that little gap, but he couldn't find a way out.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, I think that's just about us. If you care to wrap up the show, we'll catch everybody next week.
Indeed. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. It's been a lot of fun here on Apex Racing TV. From Andrew Woodhouse, Alex Simpson and Adam Bath, it's goodbye and we'll see you at Summit Point next Thursday.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.